I am genuinely looking forward to SmackDown these days. Not that I wasn't in the past, but I think since Gunther came on, I am a lot more engaged. There's a lot more to look forward to. I think that in the past with SmackDown, it was always the Roman Reigns show, and maybe I struggled to find something else on the show. I mean, it was like Roman would open the show, Roman would close the show, and then the middle part, like, sagged a little bit, to be honest. But at least we got Gunther now, so I'm excited about that. I'm interested to see what they do with Shinsuke and Roman as well. I'm interested to see that feels like a feud, and a feud that I would enjoy. So they definitely teased that last week at the end of last week's show, so we'll have a look at that. So that's potentially coming up tonight. But as we said, we do have AEW coming up first. That will see a title match. It's going to be Hangman Adam Page taking on Adam Cole. And we've got that in the first hour. So yeah, Rampage is on before SmackDown this week. So that's why we've started just a couple of moments early, just so we can make sure that we're definitely here. We're up and running for when it does begin, and that is in 8 seconds time. Apparently, I've got a little countdown clock right in front of me as that is ticking away. Jason, hello, shout out to you. Says, good evening, Days. UK pre-register hit 60,000 for the WWE pay-per-view. I did see that news. Jason, I hope you are well. I don't think it'll come as a surprise to really any UK wrestling fans, WWE fans, that the demand was that great. I think we've known all along, haven't we, to be honest, that if they were to give us a big pay-per-view, we would, turn out in numbers. And I must admit, I saw the number, and I just can't say I was that surprised. I honestly thought that it would be a big, big number of people that would be interested. It's the kind of show that if you told me it sold out within an hour, I would completely believe you. If that's what happens, if it turns out that when those tickets go on sale and an hour later it's all sold out, I would completely believe you. The UK market is, it's been crying out for a pay-per-view for so long. It's one of those kind of it became a bit of a meme, like whenever they would come over and do a tour, at some point during the tour, someone would say, you know what, I'm going to tell Vince, you guys, you're the best fans and you guys deserve WrestleMania. Would you like that? Like, I saw, normally it was John Cena that was saying it, but if you went to a house show and Cena would get on the microphone in the UK, or it happened a few times on Raw as well when that was at the O2, there'd be a few times where they'd whip the crowd up into a frenzy, saying about how we deserve WrestleMania and would you like to see it? And it was nothing more than just getting the crowd fired up. Like, there was never anything more than that behind it. But yeah, it was great to see the UK fans coming out and showing that the demand is there. And that's got to look good to WWE, hasn't it? Right, Blackpool Combat Club, BCC, taking on Gun Club, GC. So, there we go, BCC versus Gun Club, and apparently Gun Club undefeated. We got William Regal on commentary for this one, and 3-on-3, trios match right now. 3 Guns taking on Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. Harley said, Dave Cena is reported at the end of June, returning, probably June 27th. Harley, hope you're well. Sterling said, I want to go to a UK pay-per-view, but it's only worth the travel for front row. Good luck getting them. Honestly, I don't know what the price is going to be. I mean, 60, was it 40-odd thousand, 60-odd thousand? I mean, either way, as I said, I genuinely will not be surprised if that sells out within the first hour or two. I genuinely will not be surprised. And I really think that if UK fans can do that, that will send a massive message, because apparently the real attendance for WrestleMania this year was 60-something thousand on both days. Now, WWE said that it was 76,000 and 77,000, but apparently, according to Meltzer, that was not true, right? And WWE have got a big, long history of inflating and lying and exaggerating how many people are actually there. But apparently it was like 65,000 and 66,000, and that got changed to 76,000 and 77,000. So apparently they sprinkled an extra 10,000 people on that weren't there. So listen, if the WWE see that the UK sells out a pay-per-view like that, and it's like, what, 70, 80,000 that actually sell like that. I mean, that has got to be massive. You'd have to think that would be massive. And certainly if, when they do that show, the views are good, because the problem has always been the time difference. So the problem is that when you do a show in the UK, East Coast is 5 hours behind. So if you're going to do it at, say, 7 o'clock at night here, it's 2 o'clock in the US. Now, I don't think that's a big problem, but for whatever reason, WWE do think that it's a problem. So, that's always been one of the reasons as to why we've never been able to have like a big show here. But they're going for it, and hopefully it works. Any idea when the tickets are on sale? No, I don't think there's been an announcement on that yet. I think all you can do is pre-register, and then they'll, once those people will be told, basically, tickets will be going on sale, on such and such date, but that information hasn't been announced yet. They've changed the timing of Rampage to 12 a.m. BST. Yeah, it's on right now. It's on right now. Billy Gunn is in fantastic shape, said Lone Star Friend. 58 years old. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I am going to keep an eye on it, but obviously there's a lot to talk about, and people are going to want to talk about SmackDown and everything. It's going to be tricky. I mean, like, obviously we can watch Hangman and we can watch Adam Cole, and that's going to be a big, big match. That, I'm guessing, is the main event. So we've got a little bit of a way to go till we get to that, but right now it's Blackpool Combat Club taking on the Gun Club. The time difference still doesn't stop WWE doing a pay-per-view from Saudi Arabia. That's true, but I don't think the UK government is giving them 70-odd million to, and I should imagine that is a big sweetener for them, isn't it? I hope they keep this time slot, says Esteban. Bellator tonight, UFC tomorrow, says Tim. Looking forward to UFC tomorrow. Should be good. Opinion on WWE changing the name of Austin Theory to just Theory. I think that it's a bit silly, to be honest. I think Theory is... I don't know. Some of these... I feel like they're changing the names because they want to own them. I mean, do they not own Austin Theory already? I mean, maybe not. Perhaps that was the name that he used on the indie scene. I don't know. I didn't follow him when he was on the indie scene. So perhaps they've, changed it because they want to own the name, which I can understand. But if you're going to change it, can you not at least change it to something really cool and something really good, rather than just taking, like, Austin away and calling it Theory? I would imagine that the reason they've done that is because they feel that Austin Theory is over, because he's been in a lot of segments with Vince. So if you completely change his name now, it'll seem a bit strange. But which I can understand the argument for that. But then, like, shouldn't they have done this before he, like, started on the main roster? You would think before they started, the first thing they would check is, do we have the copyright for the name? Is that our name or his name? Like, you'd imagine that'd be the first thing they do. Like they did with Gunther. So, Gunther was Volta. They changed it before he got to the main roster, sort of. And so now, like, they can just run with that, and hopefully there'll be no more disruption. I think the Gunther name is one that I find quite interesting, because I think that's actually an example where the name's been fine. It's weird because that's one that fans seem to have been taken offense to. That's one that a lot of fans seem to be, like, upset with. And I'm not. I mean, I think Walter, Gunther, doesn't make a difference. But, like, Pete Dunne or Butch, like, I feel like that is a big difference. I feel like that is one where we've really gone down the wrong road. Do you know what I mean? That's one I could understand the fans. So, like, what I don't get is every time they call Pete Dunne, like, Butch, why are the fans not reacting to that? Why have the fans chosen the Walter Gunther one to kind of push back on, but yet seemingly calling Pete Dunne Butch is fine and been accepted? I mean, it just all seems backwards to me. It seems like the fans are, like, protesting the wrong name change. I really feel like the Pete Dunne one is way more offensive. Maybe there's something in the fact that, like, you had the whole fact that it was originally named after, like, a real-life Nazi, and so maybe there's something connected with that. But as we know, they didn't give him that surname, so he's literally just called Gunther now. I mean, it's just a name, isn't it? It's just a name. It's not named after anyone. There's nothing. So I don't know. Maybe it, like, stems from that, but I think it's just become a bit of a meme in its own right now, where the fans just kind of kick back because, you know, everyone else is. Everyone else seems to be kicking back against the Gunther name, so I'll kick back against it as well, rather than, I think, people, like, genuinely being upset about it. Whereas, like, for me, the Butch name change is way worse. That is way worse. I don't know how Pete Dunne is going to get over with that name, to be honest, so I do feel for him. The Austin Theory one, I would say, is not Butch levels bad, but still not, you know, it's not. I wouldn't say it was a step in the right direction. Let's put it that way. We're still underway with Blackpool Combat Club and Gun Club. Another Friday night, another Smackdown, said Jaden, and another one of Roman Reigns' boring part of the head of the table and tribal chief nonsense, says Jaden. Lauren said, thoughts on Sean Dyche getting sacked, Gallagher not playing in the FA Cup semi-final as he's on loan and his contract won't allow him. I think that's fine about Gallagher not playing. I mean, that's the rule. And once you get a loan player, you know that's the rule. You know that they can't play against their parent club, so there can be no complaints about that. That's known before you get them. So I would say that he's been fantastic. I don't know where Crystal Palace would have been without Gallagher this season. And I did hear some fans saying that it should be that if you loan a player out, they shouldn't be allowed to go in your league, because, like, how is it fair that other teams have to play Crystal Palace with Gallagher but Chelsea don't because he's a Chelsea player? Like, I can understand that argument. But this is all known at the start of the season. Like, this is no surprise to anyone. This isn't a rule that's just magically appeared. Like, everyone knows the rule when it comes to loaned players. Now, if they're going to change it next year and it's like you can loan them out but they can't go to a team like in the same league, so Gallagher would have to go abroad, or he'd have to go to the Championship, or he'd have to go to the Scottish Premier or something like that. That could be interesting. That could be maybe a way forwards. But I think this has been good for Gallagher to get Premier League experience. I think it's been helpful for the player. I think it's been helpful for Crystal Palace. I think it's been helpful for Chelsea. And I've got no complaints about it. I just think that it's unfortunate. You know, I think 30-odd players Chelsea loaned out. So I can understand why people are like, you know, that's 30-odd players that are out there competing against other teams, but not against Chelsea. So maybe that does need to be looked into. Maybe there needs to be a limit, a cap. Maybe there needs to be a rule where they don't go to teams in the same league. It's one that's up for debate, but this isn't a surprise, is it? And the Sean Dyche situation, I think, is quite shocking. He was at Burnley for 10 years, and I think that he was a great manager. I think that they clearly want to try and battle and avoid relegation. They don't think Sean Dyche is going to be able to do that for them, and maybe they've got one eye on the future. Maybe if they fire him now, they can bring someone at a lower wage. So if they go down, it's not going to hurt them financially as much. I don't know. I mean, look, football's ruthless. Sean Dyche will know that. I think it's a surprise, but football's ruthless, isn't it? So I don't know their real reasoning, but I equally can't say I am too surprised. I think if you're struggling, you're always in danger. Wrestle with Andy said, what if they change Ridge Holland's name to Luke and Sheamus to Jameson? That would be pretty wild, wouldn't it? Pretty wild. Blast from the past. Chewing on his tie dress. Jameson was so weird, but he was so much fun as well. You couldn't get away with that character in 2022. You couldn't get away with doing that character now. But he used to come down. He used to have, like, his shoes were ripped, his suit was ripped, his glasses were, like, taped together. He'd be chewing on his tie, and he kind of fitted in with that group. To be honest, he fitted in with the Bushwhackers. Like, I could see why he was with them. And I just imagine if you was a kid, like, I just imagine you would have loved seeing Jameson come down. But yeah, 2022, that would not fly at all. But I am making a custom Cody figure. Billy Gunn kicking out at 3.5. Gotta look strong, brother. Well, we're a commercial break at the moment. There's nothing to tell you about. We've just been at break for a few minutes. Shola said, I've played my triple captain today. I put it on Son. Okay. I don't know that I would have gone that way, to be honest, because I think they've only got one game, haven't they? So I don't know that I would have gone that way. There's a few double game weeks coming up where they'll play twice, and Tottenham might even play twice. So, I don't know. It could work. Could work, couldn't it? I've still got mine, and I must admit I'm looking at Leicester in a few weeks because they've got a couple of easy teams or easier teams, and I am looking at, like, Madison maybe, so I'm still debating when to play mine. So, don't know. You might have called it. Mason, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Brad said Rampage is early tonight. They're taping Battle of the Belts next. Austin said, I forgot about the Fantasy League. How could you? How could you? Right, we've got Butcher coming out. Butcher on his way. Is this the Butcher against Wardlow match that was made the other day? I found this match really weird, to be honest, because I don't think Butcher's scary at all. We've seen Butcher lose quite a bit, so I just don't see this as being a problem for Wardlow. Oh, well, it's not that match anyway. It must be next week. Was it on Dynamite? So, who is that? Aaron Solo? No? Who is that? I don't even think this person got an intro. I have no idea who that is. Jobber. I'm just going to go with Jobber. What have you done for the Fantasy Premier League this week? Well, to be honest, I think this week's one of the hardest weeks because I think that there's quite a few double game week options, and I think it really depends what your team is. So I'll make a note, but what I'll do after is I'll put a photo of my team out, and I'll show people what my team is. I always show people what my team is, but I'll put a photo of what my team is tonight so that people can have a look at it. I'm really torn because I fancy making another transfer, but I haven't done it because I can't quite figure out who the other transfer should be. At this stage in the season, you really want to be bringing in players that are going to see you through to the end of the season. I can't stress this enough. I really wouldn't be making transfers just for this week. I really wouldn't do that because you've actually got another couple of game weeks coming up as well. So, like, you've really got to focus on what's happening right now. make sure that you're, keeping focused on like the end of the season and what's happening like for the next few game weeks. So yeah, I've brought in Shah from Newcastle. That was my transfer, and then I've not touched anything else. So I'll put that picture out, because I must admit I've not really maximised the double game week this week, and that could prove to be a mistake, or it could prove to be the right move, because spending a load of points to try and capitalise on a double game week that doesn't really work out for you. I've seen that happen time and time again. So WWE is Champions League. AEW is the Ish to Man League. WWE has decided not to release anyone today since April 15th for the last 2 years has been annual releases, says Delmar. We got Dustin. So, Dustin wants to face CM Punk. Ruby Soho? Ruby Soho? Still alive? Ruby Soho. On a 10-match winning streak. Dustin wants a match. Spurs don't have another game until next Saturday, said Dylan. Time to acknowledge the tribal chief, said Sage. Dustin challenging CM Punk. Right, Ruby Soho has made her way down, and we've got Robin Renegades. Jobber. Jobberess. Jobberina. Okay, there we go. Ruby Soho still under contract. Ruby Soho. I miss Goldust. He was such a great wrestler, but WWE ruined him, said Wooden. Probably taped a bunch of dark matches. Right, well, we're just getting through these matches, and then there'll be plenty of time for the Adam Cole Hangman Page match. That's coming up. Tonight on SmackDown, we've got Drew versus Sammy. We've got RK Bro on the show there, looking for the Usos. We've got Ricochet against Jinder, IC title match. Can I just I'm going to have a moan here, right, just for a second. This match, IC title match, should be the main event, right? It should have been built up for weeks. Just chucking on an IC title match, to me, just makes this feel nothing. It feels like nothing. It might as well not be for the IC title, right? It does nothing to help the integrity of the Intercontinental Championship. Just, I didn't even know this match was happening before today. This is something that they could have built up. It's something that they could have teased for a few weeks. I really feel like that's a problem in wrestling at the moment. Everything's so instant and nothing feels important anymore. Nothing feels like big time, or very little feels like it's big time and feels like you have to watch it, because the builds are just so short or just non-existent. So, this is an IC title match, and I can't be the only one that thinks back to, like, British Bulldog against Bret Hart at SummerSlam 92, or, some of those great Jericho reigns, or Mr. Perfect Bret Hart. Like, so many great Intercontinental champions and matches, and such a shame that this is just chucked out there. I mean, I'd imagine this will just be in the middle of the show somewhere, probably have a screwy finish, and then it'll end up with Ricochet Jinder rematch, like WrestleMania Backlash or something. So, yeah, I wish this was the main event, and I wish it had a few weeks of builds, and I wish that, it was like, I wish everyone was talking right now about who do you think's going to win the IC title match. Do you think they're going to stick with Ricochet, or do you think it'll be Jinder? Like, I wish it felt like that. But honestly, it's just a match, innit? It's just a match. Like, it was announced along with just other matches. So, yeah, I think that's a bit of a shame. I think it's a shame. That's something that I would definitely wish that modern wrestling would improve. I think modern wrestling could definitely... I feel like modern wrestling can't really afford to slow down anymore because the TV shows are so important. But because the TV shows are so important, it means they've got to give you big matches all the time. But the problem you've got when you have big matches all the time is nothing feels important. Nothing seems to feel like it matters. Because you're like, big match, big match, big match, title match, title match, title match, title match. Like, I wish it would just slow and breathe and build. And do you know what I mean? So that's my moan about that. So, Drew versus Sammy. RK Bro looking for the bloodline. Ricochet versus Jinder in an Intercontinental title match. Roman and Shinsuke, we're going to find out the next step in that feud. And Madcap taking on, well, I say taking on Happy Corbin. I'd imagine there'll be something further there. And Gunther as well. I'm hoping we see Gunther again. I don't know what we do with Gunther. I don't know if it'll be another... squash match. I don't mind if it is, but I don't think we'll be seeing anything different. I kind of feel like he showed us a lot last week. Maybe it might be good if he was in a squash tag match. Him and Ludwig. Ludwig and Gunther in a squash tag match this time could be interesting to show that Ludwig is dominant as well. But it'll probably just be a squash Gunther match. So either way, looking forward to seeing the big man. Oh, the other thing as well is that apparently Tony Khan, his big announcement, they believe could be something to do with either AEW getting a new streaming deal or a new broadcasting deal for Ring of Honor. So something to do with that. If anyone's thinking like it's a new sign-in or something like this, Meltzer seems to be suggesting he thinks it's either a new streaming deal or a broadcasting deal for Ring of Honor. So could genuinely be a big announcement from Tony Khan. Could genuinely be a big announcement. Ruby Soho is struggling against Jobberina at the moment as she's being kept down. What do you think Tony Khan's a billionth big announcement will be? Boom, done. Who won the fight between Roman and Amos? There's not been a fight. Love that Ludwig Borger is back in wrestling. Delmar said, do you think Mustafa Ali returns to TV and attacks Ricochet? He's been quiet on social media, called off and even expressed wanting a match with Cody. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I mean, it's not his choice. It's down to what WWE want to do. And honestly, I don't know if WWE feel like they can trust him because he is someone that has asked to leave. He's clearly not happy with being in WWE. They were not willing to grant his release. But have we got to a point where they're willing to trust him, work with him, put him back on TV? Maybe not. Maybe not. It could be a case that they just don't bother with investing in him, to be honest. And you know, they just let him kind of sit it out and cater him. So I genuinely don't know. I would lean towards no. We won't see him, and that Vince is just washing his hands of him. But without being privy to the conversations between them, I don't know if anything's changed. What do you think about Raquel Gonzalez becoming Raquel Rodriguez? Don't mind, to be honest. It's another Gunther, Volta, Gunther to me. I mean, Volta, Gunther, they're both quite similar in names, aren't they? And it doesn't make a difference to me as to if you call him Volta or if you call him Gunther. But and the same with Raquel Gonzalez or Rachel Rodriguez. I mean, I feel like Raquel Gonzalez, Rachel Rodriguez, they're both pretty much the same. So I don't mind. I can understand people getting a bit annoyed because they know her as Raquel Gonzalez in NXT, but at this point, we know that it doesn't matter. NXT is just there for them to have some matches, learn the ropes, so that when they come up to WWE's main roster, they've got a much better idea of what to expect. You know, going from the indie scene or having never wrestled at all, like some of these haven't. You need to, know where the hard cam is. You need to work on your entrance. You need to work on your promos. You need to work on your matches. You need to work on your timing. Timing is so important. Got to get in your things before you go to commercial break. You need to wrap up your segment when it's meant to wrap up. Like, you can't overrun on your timing. So, there's a lot of stuff for them to learn. And I think that's all NXT is there to do, to be honest. So if they bring them up, there's a chance they'll change their music, change their name, change loads of different things. So I think as wrestling fans, we need to, sadly, I don't want to say accept it, but maybe accept it, understand that that's what's happening. I do miss the old days of NXT, where someone would be in NXT, they'd get called up like Sasha, like Charlotte, and their name was kept the same. I do miss all that. This getting used to people in NXT and then them coming up and things changing, I think is annoying. But I just accept it for what it is now. It doesn't surprise me anymore. I'm probably more surprised if they don't change their names anymore. Literally everyone's name's getting changed, isn't it? So... Wardlow against The Butcher is Wednesday. They're just running through Dynamite. Hook's Dynamite debut as well. I thought there were going to be some releases, says WWE Spiteful. Shadow Ninja said, do you think that we could see debuts from NXT tonight? I don't think so. Ruby did assist Abigail, said Mason. Do we need to shout all of our messages, says Matt. Not particularly. Have you seen that Cena is locked in for a return? It's mentioned earlier, yeah. Is Raquel fighting tonight? I don't think they've announced it. No. The US title looks cool, but the IC title belt is horrible. At least the tag belts don't look like pennies anymore, says Cliff. Have they changed the tag titles? What do you mean? Do you mean because of changing the colour like years ago? Alexis said, Matt James said, do we need to shout all of our messages? I saw. I said, I don't think you do. I don't think you do need to shout your messages. I mean, it can be a fun new trend if you want. Here's our main event of the evening then. Hangman versus Adam Cole. Maybe Bron Breakker will become Steiner on the main roster. Maybe. I mean, it would have to be a name that Vince could own. And so I don't think it'll be Rex Steiner. But if he was to call him, I don't know, something else. Brian Steiner. Something like this, I don't know. Then could he own that? I genuinely don't know. Genuinely don't know. That one, I mean, Bron Breakker is a name they've given him so they can own it. That might be a name that they don't touch, to be honest. I've got to think that Vince... I don't think Vince isn't there every week at NXT, but I think he knows what's happening. I think he probably is maybe a little more involved. And I would imagine that if he wanted to change that Bron Breakker name, I would think he would have done it by now. Because I think Bron Breakker is going to be a big future star for him. So I've got to think that if the Bron Breakker name hasn't changed, and it's one they've created anyway, I've got to think they're probably just going to run with that one. But then saying that, was Raquel Gonzalez her real name? Was it Raquel Gonzalez? Maybe that was her real name. I genuinely don't know. So maybe that one slipped through the net. We know that Bron Breakker's not his real name. So, yeah, that's one they might just run with. Did you watch NXT this week? No. Austin said they'd better not change XY Zion Quinn. That name is perfect. 25-minute main event. Yeah, it is. Just going to commercial break. So we've had the intros. I don't know. I just imagine we're going to get ring walks and everything. I mean, it's probably what I expected. But by the time we've come back from this commercial break, we've had entrances. It'll be about 20-odd minutes to go. Shirley said, I've changed my mind on the triple captain. Thanks for the advice. There's double game weeks coming up. I mean, I think Son's in great form. But have a look and see what Tottenham's fixtures look like. I'm sure they've got a double game week coming up. And that would give you 2 games in 1 week, which I'd have to think would give you better return or better potential return for Son. But have a little look. If your heart's set on Son, who I think is a good pick for a triple captain, have a look at Tottenham's fixtures, find the week you like the look of best, and then go for that. Liverpool to win tomorrow. We will be doing that game tomorrow. So tomorrow we're live for Liverpool against Man City in the FA Cup. Big game that is. Someone is going to go through and someone's going out. And that's going to have big repercussions because both teams are chasing. Liverpool are chasing the quad and Man City are chasing the treble. So, yeah, both teams are battling away at the moment. Got to say that I'm probably leaning Liverpool, but it's a massive game. And as we said, we will be live for that. And then UFC straight, well, not straight after, but later that night. What do you think about people that bet on WWE? Don't really think anything, to be honest. I think it's something you can do. I mean, for example, we didn't quite know who was going to be winning the Royal Rumble this year, for example. Brock was a favourite, and that would have been reflected in the betting odds. But we know how Vince changes his mind. So I don't really think anything. I think you can bet on WWE. I mean, I don't think, like, most weeks you can't, because most weeks I don't think we quite know what the matches are. But, yeah, you know, look, whenever we hear any news from Dave Meltzer, so do the bookies. So it's normally quite tricky to find, like, you know, an advantage. But there was one, because we saw the news come out that Ronda was going to be returning at the Rumble. And so that was enough for people to think, well, that surely means she's going to win the Women's Rumble. So I know there was a few people that jumped on betting on Ronda for this year's Royal Rumble, whilst her odds were quite wide. And then as soon as the bookies saw the news, they then changed the odds. And, of course, she went on to win. So people actually got won money from betting on Ronda Rousey to win this year's Royal Rumble. So, yeah, fair play. That's what I think. I think if you can work the system, fair play. Why Liverpool, we dominate in our game, said VR Gomez man. I just quite fancied Liverpool anyway. I think that when Man City played Liverpool, they did dominate, but Man City have a habit of dominating games and not finishing them off. I mean, we saw them dominate against Atletico Madrid and they didn't finish it off. We saw them dominate against Liverpool. They didn't. That game ended in a draw. They did not finish it off. I mean, I think there's every chance they dominate again, but I don't know that I've got the confidence that Man City are going to finish it off. This is Man City's problem, is that you can have possession and you can dominate the game and create a few chances, but just you're not blowing teams like Atletico or Liverpool away 2-3-0. So that's why I'm thinking, like, if Liverpool get a chance, I can see them scoring. And I think that Man City will create some chances. And I could see it going to extra time. But I just give Liverpool the edge. I just think that Man City are going to dominate possession but just not do much with it. And I think Liverpool can hit them on the counter. And I think that if Liverpool get an opportunity, they'll take it. You know, it really depends on what form Salah's in. Depends what... I mean, Jota seems to be in great form. Diaz seems to be playing well. I think Liverpool are looking pretty good. But they're going to have to weather a storm. They know that. It's not going to be easy against Man City. But, you know, potentially no Kyle Walker. Potentially no De Bruyne. And probably lean into Man City as a result, to Liverpool as a result. But I must admit, I was leaning to them anyway. The De Bruyne Walker thing has just cemented it in my mind. Across 90 minutes, it was a draw when they faced the other week. You know, if this goes to extra time penalties, I'm going to lean towards Liverpool. We've got a couple of chairs chucked into the ring then. We've got 20 minutes to go. I think Gunther will be released in the future in about 2 to 4 months, as I don't think they will see anything in him, says Edwards. Finbar said WWF Tag Team Champions on the Worlds. The New Age Outlaws. Dylan said City have players out for tomorrow. Right, we've got Adam Cole in the ring with Hangman. Both guys grabbing a chair. We've got 20 minutes to go until we get to SmackDown. These two swinging chairs at each other, and Hangman hits Adam Cole with a chair. I think that WWE releases for 2022... I don't know. I must admit, I'm hoping that's it. I'm hoping there's no need for any further releases. So, no releases today is it's all good news, isn't it? On the outside, Hangman throwing in some shots on Adam Cole. Is this for the title? I believe it is, yes. AEW was on a nice streak of momentum in the summer-fall of 2022 with 4 straight weeks after 1.1. Now it's difficult to get 1 million. It's just hard. I mean, I think that this time of year is difficult as well because, we're out of WrestleMania season, which always tends to bring some extra people to the world of wrestling. And I definitely think last week felt a bit like a slump, if you will, like post-WrestleMania. Kind of felt like, a bit of a, well, that's WrestleMania season over type thing. I'd say it's kind of carried on into this week as well. So, I don't know. I just don't know if there's, people really, you've got your fans, but I don't know if there's really anything that's bringing extra people in at the moment. I certainly don't think WrestleMania Backlash has got any kind of buzz around it, WrestleMania, the most stupendous in the world. I think genuinely they made it feel big. WrestleMania Backlash right now doesn't feel that big, to be honest. But we've still got a few weeks to go, and maybe we take a step, forwards on the build for that tonight. We're in the crowd here with Hangman and Adam Cole. And Adam Cole climbing up. They're in the stands with the fans. Hangman is getting the advantage early. That must mean that Adam Cole is going to win. I hope this ends the Hangman and Cole feuds. I am ready for something different for the title, said Lance. And Cole with a beer, and he smashes it into Adam Cole. What are those beers? It's a weird looking beer. It was in a bottle can. I don't know what you would call it. It was kind of like a can in the shape of a bottle. Never seen anything like that before. Right, this match is back into the ring. Who do you think is the next legend to return to the ring? Well, rumours are John Cena. John Cena around July, which I'm guessing is like SummerSlam's early this year, isn't it? So I'm thinking Cena for SummerSlam. I've not seen the Hangman do that in a while, says Heather. Having a drink of beer. Moonsault from Hangman with a chair comes crashing down onto Adam Cole. Was that a botch by Adam Cole? Chair in the corner. Days, I'm going to Arsenal United. Then I'm off to Wembley for the mega boxing between Fury and Dillian White. Have fun. Gerard, we will be doing the stream for that. We are doing Fury against Dillian White. I was watching the press conference, but God, it was so boring. Like the build for this fight has been rubbish, but it's 94,000 at Wembley. I mean, it didn't need a build, which is good because it's been rubbish. Is this for the title? I believe it is. Those are standard in America. You can't have glass bottles at arenas for safety. You can't have glass bottles in the UK. Normally what they do is either plastic bottles, or they actually, when you buy a beer from the stand, they will pour it into a glass kind of cup thing. So, yeah. Plastic bottles, but that didn't look like a plastic bottle, to be honest. Unless maybe it was. Maybe it was, but it was weird. Apparently we're in picture-in-picture. So, and we're on the outside. Adam Cole is down. What is the UK premium event? Is it the current one, as in Extreme Rules? We're expecting it to be something new. I must admit, I'm not expecting it to be Extreme Rules or anything. I'm expecting it to be like the Great British Beatdown or the Great British, Bash or something. I'm not expecting it to be like TLC or Extreme Rules. I think that'd be really a bit flat if it was, to be honest. I think it's such a special event. It should just give it a special title. The $20 beer is not always consumed before the plastic cups are thrown. Do you have a Bianca Belair t-shirt or a Rhea Ripley or a Shayna Baszler? I've got a Rhea Ripley one, yes, which I really like. I think it said, "This is my brutality." I think that's what it says on it, but it looks really cool. Who wins in a fight, a banana or a pear? Great question. I feel like a pear's got the size advantage. It's got a bit more girth to it. A banana probably is taller, so it'll probably have the reach advantage. But I think a pear's solid. It's like a tank, solid. It's going to be really hard to take that down. Going to be hard to get that down. I feel like the pear would be like Adesanya with longer, rangy striking. The banana will be Adesanya, and the pear probably be someone like Paulo Costa. So if you want to see that fight, I think it's already happened. Adesanya against Paulo Costa. Banana versus pear. Banana won. So there we go. There's your answer. I found a fight that I think sums up banana versus pear, and it was banana that won. We got a table set up on the outside of the ring, and Hangman being thrown inside. There's a table under there, or a chair under there, with barbed wire. There is a sign in the front row that said, "This is fun." Hangman's sat on a chair. Knee strike by Adam Cole. The pair would squash the banana. Have you heard about a UK meet and greet for the UK tour for a week on Thursday? I haven't heard about it, no, but they do normally do them, in all fairness. Like, normally they go to, like, Smith's, don't they? And, like, Game and places like that. But I actually haven't heard of one for this, no. Who's on it? Lance said, what is your favourite flavour of cake? Don't really have cake, to be honest, mate. If I was to have cake, it'd probably be a nice piece of cheesecake. I'd probably go for a cheesecake. I like cheesecake. But, you know, I'm not really a cake person. I try, where possible, to eat healthy. Even more so since these past few years, where we've been like doing like really intensive streaming, because I'd be like struggling to get off the sofa if I was like eating cake and drinking beers and all that kind of stuff. So sadly, I have to be super boring. There's a chain that was tied to the top rope, and Hangman gets clotheslined with it. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns is going to be the UK pay-per-view main event, said Gerrards. Isn't cheesecake considered a pie? Not in my world. Carrot cake is the best, says Miss Clown. Will Toy Hunts return, says Richards. Yes and no. I think we will continue to do them, but not with any kind of ferocity. It's not going to be like we're going to get back to doing one a week or anything like this. Like, I can see there being a few in the year. I just think like the channel's moved on, to be honest. But certainly not moved completely away from them. I mean, they're still like popular and they're still get requested for. So, you know, when I'm able to do them, I'll do them. But, yeah, I can't say there's like any plans at the moment. Adam Cole just planted onto the top of the chairs. He didn't even hit the chair, said Zoom Station. Gunther versus Sami Zayn is on the German tour. That'll be amazing. That'll be an amazing match. That'll be amazing. If they're given time, that'll be absolutely fantastic. Imagine Sami selling some of them chops. Sami selling them will be amazing. They're both heels, though. That's the only downside. Otherwise, I'd be like, let's definitely see that match. I'd watch that match anyway, to be honest. Gunther's a face in my eyes. I love him. Chairs in the middle of the ring. We've still got 10 minutes to go. Well, 9 now. 9 minutes to go. Have you seen the thunderstorm that rioted after Satnam Singh's debut? So much so, Tony Khan deleted his tweet regarding him being all elite. No, I mean, I heard people weren't happy with how Dynamite ended. To be honest, I'm just really bored with the lights out, lights on thing. I just think it's boring now. They do it way too much. Way, way, way too much. I actually think that it would have been a more impactful debut if someone had come out with a microphone saying that the game's about to change. You know, enjoy your title reign, Samoa Joe. Because it won't be lasting long. We've got the hottest free agent. Like, you know, you could have had someone build them up. And you could have had someone, like, on the mic, like, saying, we've got the hottest free agent. We've got the most deadliest force in all of wrestling. Really verbally built him up. And then introduce him. Satnam Singh. His music hits. And then out he comes, like, with his arms out. And then that would give the commentators time to be like, oh, my God, look at the size of this monster, kind of a thing. Like, I feel like you could have really delivered him a different way, rather than lights off, lights on, he's in the ring. And the problem was, he was actually towards the back of the ring, so the perspective just made him look like a normal wrestler. It wasn't until he came charging forwards and he booted him that you actually saw that he was like this big giant guy. I don't think they really got that over very well at all. So I must admit I wasn't overly impressed with like that moment. And I know a lot of people just wanted Samoa Joe to have his moment and celebrate, so maybe it wasn't the right week either. But yeah, I did see a bit of a backlash to that, but you're always going to have mixed opinions on these things, aren't you? So Hangman is down in the corner, Adam Cole in the corner. Do you think WWE has given us 2 pay-per-view stadium shows in July? Do you think giving us 2 pay-per-view shows in July is too much? It doesn't bother me, as long as they can, you know, build them right. I don't think, like, doing 2 a month would be right. But if you have a month where there's a couple... I mean, don't forget we didn't get one in March. So I don't mind it, to be honest. As long as the build's good, the stories are good, and everything's good. Hangman in the corner with Adam Cole. We did just get a... I think it was a Panama Sunrise. Both guys up top looking for a Spanish fly. No, fall away slam off the top's good. Into a pile of chairs. If I'm able to make the Wales show, I was going to travel to London the day after. Do you want to go for coffee or something? I'm not in London, dude. And I'm not at the Wales show. One, that reveal, who cares? And two, they ruined Samoa Joe's moment, said James. Jilly said, AEW doesn't need to do that carnival stuff. James said, Logan didn't do bad. I hope Logan signs full-time. It'll be great for the YouTube community, says James. Why did they change pay-per-view to premium live event? Not really pay-per-views anymore, are they? I mean, you don't have to pay to view them. I mean, you have to subscribe to Peacock, but if you subscribe to Peacock, you're not just getting those shows. You're getting all the back catalogue. You're getting all the Peacock content. It's not like a pay-per-view that it used to be, which is, you know, $30, $50, whatever it was, just to watch that one show. So, I think it just reflects the fact that times have changed. I think you can still get them as pay-per-views, though. I think in the UK, I think you could get WrestleMania for like 20-odd quid. But I don't know how many people were doing it. We've got Adam Cole and Hangman Adam Page sat on chairs. And they're throwing in forearm strikes to each other. Days only wants to meet Birmingham folk for coffee or New York folk. New York? That sounds fun. Hangman versus CM Punk Double or Nothing main event. Big boot by Adam Cole. Step up in Scurry. Kick by Hangman. Hangman on the outside. Adam Cole with a kick as Hangman goes down. We've got 4 minutes or so to go. Crowds are cheering. Adam Cole saying a few words to Hangman and throws in a big right hand. Hangman over the top. Buckshot lariat, and he gets it. Adam Cole down. Cole going over to the ropes. Hangman. Why is he letting him tie his hand to the ropes? I don't understand. Why is he's just holding onto the rope and is allowing him to tie it with a belt? That's cheating, says John. Are you going on the UK tour to see WWE in London or Newcastle? No. Days on NXT. XY Zion Quinn won his match. That's all you need to know. Barbed wire chair. Good night, Cole. AEW on Wednesday wasn't a good show. I didn't like the end. Seems like a lot of people didn't like the end. Adam Cole is dumb. Days, John says so. It was a bit dumb, wasn't it? If you're getting beaten up by your opponent, why would you grab hold of the top rope and allow them to tie you to it? I don't even understand this. Hangman's decided to not hit him now that he's tied him. He's untied him. Adam Cole with a low blow. Goes against the rope. Clothesline. Down goes Adam Cole. Is Smackdown on? Smackdown's on in 2 minutes. Adam Page, Hangman wrapping some barbed wire around his hand. The IC title is getting defended. It is. It is. Are you doing the Man United game tomorrow? No. We're doing the Man City Liverpool game. Ledge Killer, hello, shout out to you. Adam Cole going up, looking for Panama Sunrise. He gets walloped with the barbed wire arm. Crown of Thorns. Puts him through a table with the barbed wire on his head. Are we getting an overrun? Surely not. Smackdown is starting. It hasn't started. I've literally got it on TV. Adam Cole is down. Hangman Page is going to get in the ring. And Hangman wins it. Hangman wins. So Hangman retains just as SmackDown begins. Bish bash bosh. Right. 1,500 for tickets. I nearly threw my phone. What's that for? What's 1,500 for tickets? Cole should have won, said Matt. Okay, we're seeing on Monday the Usos. Arriving on Raw. Are you doing... Oh, I answered that. We're not doing the Man U game, no. We're doing the thingy, Man City Liverpool game. It's massive. That's huge. Even as a Man United fan, I'm willing to admit that's way bigger than the Man United game. What are Man United playing for now? Momentum. Pride. Cole buried, said James. I feel like AEW's product is really entertaining live, but on TV it doesn't work, which is why they can't keep 1 million locked in, said E54. Days, where can I see Dynamite or Rampage live in Germany? Only pay-per-view you see it on Fight TV. I don't know. I mean, in the UK, I can only imagine it's probably the same arrangement, Fight TV. You have to subscribe to it. I mean, they don't show it anywhere else in the UK live apart from on Fight TV. They do show replays, but on ITV, which is one of our big channels in all fairness, but they don't show it live anywhere apart from Fight. Going to be crazy to see how they keep Roman as champion for next year's Mania. I did read, actually, they are looking at keeping Roman as champion for a while. Dragden said that match was great. Luke said, I like that they are building Cole. Jilly said, if I were to bet on WWE, I'd bet the house, the wife, the kids, and the car on Austin Theory tonight. Jane said, I have a bad feeling that Jinder is going to pick up the victory for the IC title. MEVE said, really bad match between Hangman and Cole. Sterling said, if you want to watch wrestling, just look up that you want to watch Best Advice I Can Give. Right, going over to SmackDown. What are we opening with? Man United Norwich is on at 3 p.m, so it's not shown, says James. Oh, RK Bro. RK Bro is what is starting the show. RK Bro. They did say they were on their way. You came to our backyards. We'll come to yours. Here is... I like Riddle's Evil Knievel attire. That's pretty fun. I like that. It's fun. Are you starting the Man United stream at 2 p.m. UK time tomorrow? I genuinely don't know, to be honest. I will certainly aim to be starting nice and early. I've got a feeling the game starts at like 3:30, so I'll have a look. I mean, I don't know how much previewing we need to do, to be honest. We've spoke quite a bit about, like, Liverpool, Man City. We did the Premier League encounter. I think everyone knows the score. Everyone knows the situation. Oh, no, those weren't birds. What just came out then? What came flying out then? Was they crickets or something? They weren't birds. Okay, so RK Bro starting off the show. A feud between Ricochet and Balor for the IC title could be good, says Cliff. It was grasshoppers. Why? Is it something to do with where we are? Right, we've got Randy in the ring with a microphone. See what Randy has got to say. Hey, Randy. Randy and Riddle. Cheers for Randy. I do like Riddle's attire. It's fun. Randy Orton playing to the crowds. Here we go. Riddle said, "I'm so stoked to be back on SmackDown with my best friend." We didn't come all the way to Worcester just to say what's up. Talking about Worcester in England, which is pretty wild. That's not too far from when I grew up. Okay. We are here. You came to our show. And you came in our ring. This is going to annoy Roman, isn't it? That the RK Bro are on his show. I mean, this is very much Roman's show. It's the tribal chief, the head of the table. I would love Roman and Randy, to be honest. That's definitely a feud that I would love to see one day. Here's the Usos making their way out. I like how Riddle went to say something, but then he zipped it and threw the key away. And Randy was like, good. That was it. That was all it was. I don't even know why they did that little bit, but... Here's the Usos. I tell you, what would be really fun is if RK Bro had thought just a little bit further ahead and thought, okay, well, you've got the Usos. Who else can help the Usos? Roman. We're going to need someone that can deal with Roman. We're going to need a third person. Imagine if, like, the Usos are in there. Face to face with RK Bro. Roman comes down. It's 3-on-2. And then RK Bro are like, we planned for this. And then someone's music hits. And then they come down to even the teams. Like, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. I don't know who that third person would be. I don't know who the third man would be. It has to be Hulk Hogan. But it could be pretty fun. Look who showed up in Bloodline territory. RK Bro. Smile on the face of the Usos. You're behind enemy lines. You are behind enemy lines. So we've got RK Bro in the ring. We've got the Usos. What's the answer? We issued the challenge about unifying the titles. Now you're here. So what is your answer? Let's remind you. Who you dealing with? I feel like, is he... Okay, so they're getting, like, fired up here. I do feel like he just lost his way a little bit there. Okay, well, we got it back on track. I think we might get a match between the Usos begin losing. Roman saves them, causing a DQ, and then maybe a rematch at Backlash, says Scott. Randy, Brock, and Riddle. Brock? We know Brock's not around, though. I love your whole family. I respect your whole family. So it gets, I don't know what was said there, but he says, I love all your fellow. Look at Riddle running around in the background. Your big dog let the off the leash. Frick that, brother. This is my show. This is my ring. Randy's having the time of his life, isn't he? So, Randy saying that he's been breaking records for 20 years. It is true, isn't it? I mean, I like how he laughed at them. Okay, bro, accept the challenge. This actually feels like a big deal, doesn't it? It feels like a massive match. When will Brock return? Don't know. I'd imagine SummerSlam time. We've got all the titles being held up in the air as these two teams staring at each other. Usos just taking a few steps back. I like that segment, to be honest. It's quite basic. There's not really much to it. It's just the Usos, like, running down what they've achieved, and Randy obviously responding with, you know, how big of a legend he is. Bottom line is, the challenge is accepted. Usos attacking Riddle as he was up in the corner. It is a little sneak attack as Riddle is pulled down from the corner. I need you to give plate by plate. I'm not getting the Fox signal, says Larry. Cliff said, Orton is great. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, I don't think people saying he's not. He's a goat, isn't he? Yeah, that was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. Well, hello. We've got Naomi and Sasha. Sasha's feeling the glow. I think she's probably having a really good time, isn't she, Sasha? Here's Rhea and Liv. Oh, is this tonight? All Naomi has to do is be Naomi. Sasha and Naomi. So, it looks like we're going to be getting, is it Naomi against Rhea Ripley tonight? God, it's just the match that will never happen, isn't it? It's just constantly, every show, we just seem to get another variation of different combination of these people facing each other. Honestly, the way that Sasha came out then, I thought she was pregnant. Look at the way that she's dancing. Like, because of the glow, you can see her shorts, but then it looked like she had like quite a big belly, where she was like pregnant or something. But it's the title. It was just the way that it made the title look. I was like, she legit looked like she was pregnant for a second then. She's not. She's just wearing gold. SmackDown has been a good show so far. Sasha is fine ASF. Dude, she is joining Edge. The purple light in the background, said Tom. Cliff said 50-50 booking. Jan says there's a purple light behind Liv and Rhea. Harley said the Rhea and Liv relationship is so weird. They're so touchy deeply. What's that? What does that mean? What's touchy deeply? What's that mean? Oh, you two, you're so touchy deeply. What's touchy deeply? My new favourite band. That's who it is. Touchy deeply. That's a great track. That's gonna be a massive summer hit. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be a ballad by Taylor Swift. Touchy deeply. It's off her new album. This is dumb, says Michael. Pregnant with my kid, I wish, says John. Right, we are at commercial break. Naomi is fine ASF. Dante said, did you hear that Jon Moxley's contract is up next month? I didn't, but I would expect him to re-sign, to be honest. I certainly wouldn't expect him in WWE. Jaden said, I'm sorry, Cliff Beavers, but I don't think... No, Brock said to McMahon, he said to him, I quit. Yeah, but Jaden, wasn't it you or someone got their news from Truth Mania? I remember someone talking about Brock leaving and quitting, and they cited Truth Mania as to where they got the news from. I mean, fun fact... There's probably no truth that's going on over at Truth Mania. So I honestly would... I'd be very careful as to where you get your wrestling news from. So many fake stories. There's so many people that are just out there desperate for clicks, desperate for views. There was... who was it? Chris Dankops. He had a tweet that I saw kind of went quite big. Because he said, what? Question mark. And it was a photo of a thumbnail from a YouTube channel. And it was wrestlers that had died in 2022. And the 3 images on the thumbnail were Shawn Michaels, I think Charlotte Flair, and someone else that has not died. And he was like, what? But this is the world we live in now, isn't it? This is the world we live in. Matt, hello, Matt. Shout out to you, my friend. Days, here is £20 for having a very symmetrical hat. There we go. For you symmetry hat fans out there. In these difficult times, hat symmetry is so important. Thank you for championing hat symmetry. I mean, I've always been a big believer in it, to be honest, a big believer. It's something that's it's a war I've been waging quietly in the background. So, Matt, I really appreciate the support, dudes. Really is Greatly appreciated. And if a bit of hat symmetry brings you joy, that's all I can ask for on this Friday night. I feel like I'm doing my job. Riddle is here. Riddle is saying he wants Jimmy Uso. You go one-on-one with Jimmy tonight. So he's got it. Riddle against Jimmy Uso. There we go. Dream match. And that's that. Boom. Days, no cap. Kingdom Cody Rhodes theme is an amazing thing. Do you know what? All I'm thinking about now, Matt, is hat symmetry. That's literally all I'm thinking about now. I'm thinking, is it? I mean, it feels actually like it is quite symmetrical. Naomi and Sasha still bopping away inside the ring. John said, LA Knight appeared in a dark segment wearing a suit and cutting a promo before tonight's SmackDown. He stated that he was creating night model management with his first client being Mace. Okay. It's interesting. Is there any more news about Big E? No. Cody showing up tonight. Cody's on Raw. Although saying that, there's quite a few people from Raw here tonight, but I don't think so. I love hats. I'm wearing a hat. Is it symmetrical, though, Sonny? Please let us know. And if not, please fix it. If not, gotta represent like me. How you doing tonight? I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I'm still, do you know, I'm still not 100% back from thingy. I was looking into it and I felt really run down like the past week or so. And it turns out that you can actually get like fatigue after you've had COVID. So I'm hoping that I'm just emerging out of that now. But I mean, I'm feeling fine. No, not much cough, not much runny nose anymore. But yeah, it's not been the most fun 2 weeks of my life. Let's put it that way. Right, we are underway with Rhea and Naomi. Is the title on the line in the London show? Could be, dude. It's a house show, innit? So I think I don't know if there's a Raw or a SmackDown coming from there. I'm thinking they're just house shows. Normally at house shows they'll have title matches, yes. WTF, why did they do all of that in between entrances? They do that, weirdly. They do that. Where one person will come out and then they'll cut to a promo. Like, I think it's a way of like, we've got to go to this. Like, we've got to interrupt the show. We've got some breaking news. Kind of a vibe. Like, we need to get backstage now because, you know, this is happening. So I think it's that rather than let's do the match, then let's neatly go to this segment, then let's go to this match. Like, they try to mix it a bit. Rhea Ripley goes spilling to the outside. Sonny said, yes, I can confirm that my hat is symmetrical. That will be massive news to Matt. That'll be massive news to Matt. He'll be over the moon with that. That's great. Shout out to you, Sonny. We've all got to play our part. We've got Rhea going up top. Nice kick there by Naomi, and Rhea goes spilling to the outside. Here's Naomi sliding underneath that bottom rope. Clothesline by Rhea Ripley. Is Rhea Ripley supposed to be like Beth Phoenix? I have no idea. I mean, she's meant to be big and powerful if you want to make that comparison. I would imagine that Rhea Ripley would say no, she's meant to be Rhea Ripley. Commercial break. We are at commercial break. Wooden said, if you move your hat to the left, it will be symmetrical. Is that true? To my left or your left? I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's the talk of the town. I know that much. I feel like it's got quite a height to it. I tell you, Matt has actually really bothered me with that comment now. I do find myself sitting here just like thinking about it and slightly adjusting it. This sucks. New Japan pay-per-views are no longer free, says Heather. On New Japan World, you have to pay separately now. What's the point in paying $9 a month now? Wouldn't you get, like, the weekly shows? Although that does suck, in all fairness. I must admit, whenever I used to subscribe to New Japan World, it was normally just for Wrestle Kingdom, so if you don't get any of that anymore, like that is going to be a blow. I'd imagine that would be a bit of a blow to their viewership, but perhaps financially it just wasn't working out for them. The symmetry is fine. LSW said, really, that's weird. Lance said, you've now ruined the symmetry. Oh my god. I just can't win, can I? I just can't win. I mean, I feel like I don't know anymore. I don't know. I'm going to be quite happy in saying I just don't know. I don't know. It's all too much for me. Do you know what? I don't need to be dealing with this on a Friday night. I don't need to be dealing with it. How are you doing? I'm doing good, Matt. For entertainment purposes, you can find the show and not pay a penny, said Jeremy. Harley says, when you said Arcade Bro should bring out a third man for Roman, it could have been Shinsuke. Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. That would have been brilliant. That would have been brilliant. And then that could have set up a six-man tag tonight. That would have been, I would have been into that more than just Jimmy Uso against Riddle. Yeah. I should have booked that. True Killer said, I love the hat. The symmetry is great. And I know who would love your... I know who would love your hate. Your dong. I think if he saw the symmetry, he would give you a round of applause. Well, I hope so. I mean, we're big supporters of your dong here. That's a massive clothesline on the outside of the ring, isn't it? Jaden said, who will win, Riddle or Jimmy Uso? I'm gonna go... It's hard, isn't it? I can see an argument for both, really. I'll go Riddle. I've got no reason as to why. I'm just thinking then maybe it'll upset the Usos and then they attack on Monday. It's my thought process. If the Usos win here, is there a need for them to be on Raw on Monday? Whereas if they feel they've been disrespected and they want revenge, then I could see them being on Raw on Monday, and I think they'll be on Raw on Monday. Naomi planting Rhea Ripley down, looking for a pin. 1, 2, kick out by Rhea Ripley. Do you have your beanie on sideways? No, it's perfectly straight. That is one of the only things we've actually established during this stream, is that the hat is bang on symmetrical. Have a poll of who would like to test out the effectiveness of Naomi's finisher. No, because we're not a community of simps. Or at least we're not a community of simps that admit that we're a community of simps. I mean, we probably are a community of simps. But we do try to hide it behind, like, wrestling knowledge. When actually we're just simps for various different wrestlers. Like, I'm a simp for William Regal. I don't know if I even tried to hide that, to be honest. Europa League quarterfinal. Frankfurt defeated Barcelona. They did. Meaning the semi-final will be West Ham versus Frankfurt. Bloodline owns the women's tag titles. Jeremy said, give it a few months. Ring of Honor, AEW, and New Japan are going to be a monster company. And that will help New Japan's earnings. Roman doesn't have a match on SmackDown. Missile dropkick by Rhea Ripley to kick out by Naomi. Look at that dude in the front row, man. dude in a rock jacket was smacking his head on the barricade. He's super fired up. It's not a bad little women's match, this, in all fairness. Nice. Oh, looking for an inside cradle, no joy. Duck underneath by Naomi, goes over to the ropes. Kick, down goes Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley goes down. Naomi has picked her up. Full Nelson? What's he on about? Nice reversal by Pump Handle. She's going for the Riptides. Back elbows by Naomi. Oh, she got the Riptides. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley wins. Rhea Ripley beats Naomi. Rhea Ripley goes over. Yeah. Sasha looking at a tag belt. Worried. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan will get a shot at the women's tag titles on Raw. Do you know what? I would actually say the build for this has been quite good. Well, I haven't needed all the stupid one-on-one matches, but at least they've made it feel like a big deal, the match between these two teams. You know how I was saying earlier about how, like, it's a shame we're finding out about, like, the IC title match on the day of the show. Definitely feels like a big deal. Those two teams going up against each other for the women's tag belts. Here is Kayla. And they walk away from her and go into Roman's dressing room. Madcap on a mission coming up next. Madcap breaking away from Happy Corbin. Riddle versus Jimmy Uso will go to a DQ. Roman will come out, and then Nakamura will come out, and then it'll be a 6-man. But I can see all won't happen in the storyline. What do you think of SmackDown so far? I think it's alright, yeah? Yeah, I think it's alright. I think that was a decent little match, and I think the first segment was pretty good. I don't think it's a banger, but I think it's solid. I think it's pretty good. I'm not bored. They announced a title match last week. You must have missed it. I must have missed it. But case remains, even if it is just like they announced it last week, it's still not enough of a build for an IC title match. Like, if you compare what they've done to that women's tag title match, where they've been having matches on the shows and been building up for a couple of weeks now and regularly talking about it, I would say that women's tag team title match feels like, you know, it's had a good couple of weeks builds and it feels pretty good. Ricochet against Jinder, I mean, even if it was announced last week, it's so inconsequential that I've even forgotten about it. And now here we are this week with a match. I mean, I don't even think it's been mentioned on this show yet. And it's for the IC title. My point remains, like, it should be the main event. It should have a couple of weeks build. It should feel like a big deal. It should be something that everyone was talking about going into the show. We're so far away from that. So far away from that. But it's because they need, like, oh, we've got to fill this segment. We need something big. Let's do a title match. Do you know what I mean? But it's just, we seem to go to that quite a bit. The amount of, honestly, it'd be really interesting to count how many title matches across WWE get shown on Raw and SmackDown throughout the year. I bet it's a crazy number. Feels like there's some title that's being defended at some point. I don't want to say, like, every week, but pretty much every week there's a title match somewhere. Just feels maybe a bit too much. But that's wrestling, isn't it? In this day and age. In this day and age where, you know, the TV and everyone's fighting for ratings, I can't say it's a surprise. other promotions will say it's the same on... I mean, we just saw a title match on Rampage, and then on Wednesday we saw Samoa Joe win the Ring of Honor title. So, I mean, AEW are doing the exact same thing. Harley said, who do you think Cena's SummerSlam feud will be? It could just be a one-off since it's June 27th, and that is the 20th anniversary for Cena. Maybe he's only going to return for that Raw, but I think he'll stick around. I'm not sure if he'll stick around because, I mean, he's always got his filming commitments, hasn't he? So, I mean, I don't know what other projects he's working on. I don't know if they're doing more of that Peacemaker thing or if he's got any films coming up. I would imagine he'll be around for SummerSlam. I can't say that I see him being around much beyond that, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, if someone had asked me, do you think he'll be at SummerSlam? I would have said, honestly, don't know. Honestly, don't know. There hasn't been anything to, like, you know, tease that he was going to be. But now we are seeing reports that it looks like he will be. So, potential opponent. I think Gunther would be perfect. Him against Gunther. I think Gunther needs a big win. So, I think Cena coming back and putting Gunther over would be 100% what I would book. Match flow. Progressive match flow. Have you seen LA Knight was Mace's manager? It got mentioned earlier, yeah. Wild. Do a poll asking what segment they're looking forward to on Raw, Ezekiel's lie detector test or the women's tag match. I would guess it would be the women's tag match. I can't imagine that's something that... I can't imagine that the Ezekiel lie detector is one that people are that crazy for. I mean, it'll be alright. It's pretty fun. Kevin Owens is making it kind of fun. His reactions are really good in it. If he wasn't so good at, like, you know, feeling like the world had lost its mind, maybe it would fall a bit short, but it's doing alright. It's doing alright. The Jimmy versus Riddle match will end in DQ, said Danny. John Cena put another wrestler over. Are you joking? I think he's hasn't he lost quite a bit in recent years, though? He lost to Roman, didn't he, at SummerSlam? And I'm trying to think. He lost to Undertaker. And I'm trying to think who else he's come back and faced. Yeah, I definitely have him put Gunther over. I'm looking forward to the wedding, said Dark Angel. Here's Megan Morant. And she's with Happy Corbin with a smile on his face. Associate. Calling him my associate puts him on the same level as me. He's more of a hanger-on. A gopher. He was basically my lackey. He's funny to laugh at. And then he became an anchor around my neck. I've dropped some dead weight. He says he's reached peak levels of happiness now. That'll please Austin. That'll please Austin. Okay. Wait until Madcap falls flat on his face and becomes the laughing stock. So, there we go. Happy Corbin, not regretting the fact that he's parted ways with Madcap, but then I didn't think he would. Google says that it could be Cody versus Seth Rollins tonight. What? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by Google says. Drew Gulak's doing an announcing job. What? Drew Gulak's interviewing. Drew Gulak's talking to Madcap Moss like he's Sarah Schreiber. What? Wow. There we go. Didn't Daniel Bryan work with Drew Gulak for ages trying to help get him over? I think he like managed him and they were like training together and everything. Do you remember that? It was around WrestleMania 36 time. Look at him now. Madcap's going to be taking on Humberto of Los Lotharios. I forgot Drew Gulak was around. I keep thinking he'd been released. Okay. He says, I've got something for you, Kiss Can, and then we are seeing Madcap's backside. Cool. It's Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak's got a new job. Did he retire? I think he might have been forced to retire by Vince. Goddamn pal. Fair play to Drew Gulak. I remember that. That is stupid. That was hot, said Justin. Nice backside, Moss. Here's Madcap. Madcap making his way down to the ring. This show we were doing all right, man. I don't know if we're going to be able to maintain that momentum with Madcap versus Humberto Carrillo. Please give Madcap a new gimmick. I remember that, and he did get over. So WWE did the logical thing, and they kept him off the show at that point, said JDE. Finally, a Drew that doesn't swing a sword around, said Almighty Nick. Yes. Yes. Did Madcap just bring back the Kiss My Ass Club for a second? Indeed. Indeed he did. How are we supposed to take Madcap Moss seriously after he does something like that? I don't know that we are we? Are we meant to take him seriously? I genuinely don't know. Celebrate WrestleMania. Find what fits you at WWE Shop. Save up to 40% off championship titles and tees. Do you remember the Jim Cornette robot raid in the chat from a couple of months ago? No. I do not remember a Jim Cornette robot raid. WWE should have kept Corbin's original look. Cliff said Madcap has got a horrible name and look. He can hopefully break free of this character. Hope that Boogs and Madcap have a feud when Boogs comes back. I love Boogs. I love Boogs. I wish Boogs would get away from Shinsuke. I just don't think I don't think that helps him either, to be honest. Not everyone needs to be serious, says JT Jose. He won the Andre Battle Royal, unless that means nothing. Well, I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide if it means anything or not. Madcap will win a world title this year. That is not a prediction. It's a spoiler, said Cos FN. Jesus. If you really believe that, I'd put money down on that, because I reckon you'd get some good odds. Madcap winning a world title. I mean, don't forget both world titles are on Roman Reigns right now. So if you genuinely believe that within the next, 8 months, Madcap can be one of the people to get to the point where he is winning one of those world titles, then I put some money down on that, because you will get some tasty odds on that. Jaden said, now that Roman's going to WWE and the Universal Championship now, do you think that Roman is now wanting Braun and his NXT Championship? No. I think the NXT Championship, unless Roman said it's a title that he never held, because he never has, and it's something that he's always fancied. A bit like Charlotte said. Do you remember when she won the Royal Rumble and she decided to go after Rhea Ripley and go after the NXT title? You know, if he claims something along those lines, then you could do it. But it's the developmental belt, isn't it? It's the belt for people that are up and coming. Like it is below Roman. It means nothing because he was the one that won it, and it's a complete joke, says Let Him In. Do you think there's still hope for Shotzi? Sure. Well, for as long as she's there, yes. I mean, she's still under contract. They can always turn to her when they want to. They just seemingly don't have anything for her right now, do they? That's the only problem. What is the point in NXT doing developmental brand when superstars' gimmicks changed once they get called up? Well, I mean, I suppose the skills they learn are transferable, aren't they? So, you know, if you can learn how to hit your timings, doesn't really matter what your gimmick is, you're still learning how to hit timings. If you learn how to deliver promos without saying, don't forget, you can't say certain words. So, you know, even cutting live promos and making sure you're not using terminology that they don't want you to use, that's transferable. So there's probably quite a few, you know, knowing where the hard cams are, that's transferable. So I would say there's plenty of things you can learn in NXT that don't really rely on your gimmick being set in stone. It would be better if it was, absolutely. Here's a young lady she's just waiting. They proper milked that moment, and there we go. She gets a little kiss. She gets paid for that, by the way. She will be paid. Some woman just paid to come in, smile at the camera. Madcap showing off his derriere. There's the kiss cam. Madcap and Humberto. Angel Garza was sneaking into the ring. I don't think this will go for long. I tweeted you a photo of the Jim Cornette robots. Thank you. I saw someone with a hook shirt. Yeah, I spotted them earlier. They've been there all night. I don't think WWE I don't think they're too bothered about taking away AEW shirts anymore. To be honest, I think the guy's a bit of a douche for going to a WWE show with an AEW shirt. Because if you're in the front row like that, you're doing it for attention. And just think it's a bit of a douche move. Nice takeover there by Humberto. Jessica Carr is the ref for this one. Drew Gulak would be perfect in the Blackpool Combat Club. He is being completely wasted. Be interested to see what Triple T's got to say on the Wrestling Escape Pod because he loves Drew Gulak. You should tweet Triple T, see what he thinks. Breaking news, Drew Gulak spotted on SmackDown. In non-wrestling role. Gulak, I've got Gulak on the brain. Madcap charging into Humberto. And again, colliding into him as Humberto goes down. Sonny, you guys feeling better? Yeah, on the mend, mate, on the mend. Nice fall away slam. Humberto in the corner. Madcap charging over and spears into Angel Garza. Roll up by Humberto. Again, spear. Boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. Madcap is being very cheeky right now. I don't get it. Gulak is a great wrestler, said JDE. Tickets for 4th row ringside at Raw are $3,000 a ticket. I will not be sitting there. 4th row ringside, $3,000. What? I was sat in the aisle at NXT UK. I mean, I know it's drastically different, but it was a takeover. It was a Blackpool takeover, and I was right in the aisle. And them tickets were like, I think, $50 or something. Weren't just like the kind of price you would. Maybe they were a bit more premium than, like, you know, just, I don't know, if you were sat back. So perhaps it would have been like $30 if you was like, you know, 20 rows back. Angel Garza saying you lost to a joke. Madcap picking up the win. Celebrating over by the Andre the Giant trophy, and he gives Andre a little kiss. I'm sure Andre will appreciate it. I'm sure he's looking down. Smiling. Here's Charlotte. Drew Gulak's here. He's like, Adam, how did I do? I love that. I love that. How about we give you an evaluation after you interview me? Don't be nervous. I like that. That's good. They're giving him a story, so they haven't just chucked him out there as an interviewer. They haven't just thrown him out there and not given him and just, you know, right, you do this now. I love that. I love that he went up to Adam Pearce and he was like, how did I do? Because that suggests, like, there's a story at play here, and that's great. Oh, my God. WWE have done something right. I don't know what we do. I don't know how we react. How do we react? How do we react to them actually doing something right? Woo! Vince. Good work, WWE. Did something good. Pat yourselves on the back. I think Madcap has got potential to be main event in Wrestle with Andy with a gimmick change. He's got a great look. We know that the wrestling's not too important. I wouldn't say like his wrestling's anything that special. He can talk. He's got charisma. Yeah, I would agree. But I feel like we're right at the start of the journey for him. I feel like him going solo now, he's going to need like mid-card title run and all that kind of stuff first. Days, is the brand split about to end because of WrestleMania Backlash? No. Very interesting to have Drew Gulak as an interviewer. I don't get that last one. Is it about to end because of WrestleMania Backlash? Are you saying because the tag titles being, like, unified? Don't know. I mean, there's no reports of them, like, just having one set of tag titles. As there's no reports that Roman's about to walk around with one belt. So, I don't know. I mean, I've not heard about a brand split change. Has any match or segment really offended you? You can't pick non-wrestler matches. Has any match or segment ever really offended me? Yeah. I mean, like The Fiend getting burnt alive offended me. Anything that's going to be supernatural, everyone knows I struggle with. And that's, you know, we've seen a lot of stuff that's not celebrity related in that kind of bracket, if you will. So, but I think everyone, you know, we've covered that so many times. Hammer said Big E called his chest hair his taco meat. Killer Shock said, do you think there will be more releases coming soon? I hope not. Red Payne said, I do remember Val Venus never really liked him. And the way that Jerry Lawler used to bug out over him used to turn me off, no pun intended, says Red Payne. Corbin losing to Drew offended me, said Austin. Larry said, wasn't Corbin that gave Moss the Madcap nickname? Madcap should be dropped. What, and he's just Moss? He's just known as Moss going forwards. Moss. Breaking news. Official breaking news, guys. We've got some breaking news. Tag Team Championship Unification match at WrestleMania Backlash. RK Bro taking on the Usos at WrestleMania Backlash. That is breaking news. That's only just come through. That's only just been confirmed. Breaking news. Mossman. Drew Gulak in the ring. So Drew Gulak's going to interview Charlotte. It's my great privilege to interview someone very special. Woo! Everyone saying WWE has got a slim roster and guys need to go to both shows, but honestly, they mentioned some sort of multiverse. That's why we see them on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. Charlotte and RK Bro showing up on SmackDown. Is this a sign that the split is going to end? Well, Charlotte's a SmackDown superstar. RK Bro are here because they're building towards that title unification with Usos. So, I mean, the storyline makes sense from that point of view. Madcap's gimmick as Moss could be him dressed up as some moss. It would. Austin said, I did hate Drew kicking out at the end of days. Where do you get your SmackDown backdrop from? No idea. I think it's the official graphic, to be honest. Charlotte making her way down. Dun, 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 dun. I quit match. Charlotte Ronda is official for Backlash. WrestleMania Backlash. Fun fact, there were 216 title matches in 2021. 52 on Raw, 27 on SmackDown, 33 on NXT, 25 on NXT UK, 1 on the main event, 78 on pay-per-views and takeovers, 50 of them were title changes. That is a fun fact. 52 title matches on Raw means there was one every week. 27 on SmackDown means not only did we get one a week on Raw, but we got one every, 2 weeks on SmackDown. 33 on NXT. That's insane. 216 title matches. I mean, I can understand the 78 at pay-per-views, but flip. That is fun, though. 216 title matches, and nearly about a quarter of them resulted in a title change. Fair. Well done, Alex. Shout out to you. That's a great stat. You should tweet that out, dude. You should tweet that out. That's the kind of information wrestling fans love. That is really interesting. Here's Charlotte in the ring with Drew Gulak. Charlotte was trying to protect Ronda. Hayden loves it. Austin loves it. I love Drew kicking out of End of Days, said Larry. I can't tell if Charlotte is trying to be Cruella de Vil or an Oreo cookie. Maybe both. We all saw how devastated she was when she lost at WrestleMania. Imagine the humiliation after she loses an I Quit match. It looks like Ronda Rousey made you tap out, says Drew. Charlotte. That's ridiculous. You tapped out. You tapped out. She was fixing a bra, which is true because it is true because there was a couple of times where the woos fell out. None of you understand. She was fixing a bra. I think Ronda Rousey would be standing here as champion right now. Drew Gulak is really not backing down from this theory that he's got. Charlotte says, I am the champion and I didn't tap out. There's a woman with a beard and she's like, you tapped out. 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 Did you quit being a competitor so that you could stand here and ask stupid questions? People like you are used to quitting. That's pretty moody. I feel sorry for Drew Gulak. I want him to bring back his PowerPoint presentations. I bet you've quit the gym. I bet you've quit your job. Bet you've quit relationships. Tell him, Charlotte. They're a bunch of quitters. You want to know what's in my DNA? Winning. Winning. She's a submission master? Where's that come from? She's a submission master, Charlotte the submission master. You don't deserve to interview me. Get out my ring now. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, chop block to Drew Gulak. What's happening? Charlotte versus Drew Gulak. What if Gulak's going to be the mouthpiece for Ronda going forwards? That'd be all right. Figure 8. Look, Drew Gulak's. That does look quite moody, actually. She kind of had, look, the way that she got his foot was like really rotated round as well. She hasn't got it on. She hasn't got it on. Drew Gulak saying he quits. Charlotte's loving this. I don't know that I want to be seeing Drew Gulak screaming and petting to a Charlotte figure 8, to be honest, but... send for help. It was, look, at first it was on really well, and then it wasn't on at all. At first it was on, and she actually had the leg crossed over, and the foot was even rotated around, and it did look quite nasty. It looked like she'd really, like, put it on quite mean. Make it look good. But then it wasn't on. Poor Drew. Is that a situation where it should be acceptable for him to hit her? I think it would be acceptable for him to try and get out of that hold. And if it meant hitting her on, like, the knee or something to try and break the hold, I don't think he can punch her in the face, even in that situation. Dunno. It's debatable, innit, when it comes to, like, intergender and all that kind of stuff. Well, you won't see Drew next week, says Tom the Simp. Jane said, my mom has just told me 2 things. Roman, she said, he's got the face what was created by God. And 2, he's the next Aquaman. Okay. Charlotte is amazing. I love her. Maybe Drew's gimmick for interviews could be he asks kind of controversial and actual questions. Sort of like someone who doesn't side with the person that is interviewing and looks for the facts. That would be good. That would be really good, but I don't know that like superstars would be willing to be interviewed by him. You know, like Charlotte there told him to just get out the ring. So if he did ask any hard-hitting questions, they'll just tell him to get out the ring. That's the only problem. That was like a Mark Mero level burial. Well, I think he's so low down anyway that there's not really much to bury. You can't really bury him much further. Like, we just haven't been seeing him. I genuinely didn't even know he was still in the company. Drew coming out. It's going to be Drew McIntyre against Sami Zayn. I expected Ronda to come to the rescue. I did as well, to be honest, yes. The only wrestler that doesn't care about intergender rules is Randy. He RKO'd Beth and Stephanie. That's true. From one Drew to another, WWE with a perfect segue, said Dave. Right, get in your halftime scores. Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. What you thinking? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you mad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Marty with a 5. Lone Star Friend with a 6. Ponton with a... Derek with an 8. Let him in with a 6. Patrick with a 6. LS Dub with a 6. Heather said, this is so bad for Drew, getting chop blocked by Charlotte. Bryant with a 6. G Money Slayer with a 6. Trey with a 6. Brandon with a 9.7. Big Time Baxter with a 6. Lol My Name with a 6. 1987 Big Fan with a 6. Dave in real life, I think that was a 6.5. Just jumped off screen before I saw it. James Kenny with a 7 out of -0. We've got Jilly with a 6. We got Robert with a 10. We got Jordan with a 6.75. We've got an RIP Drew Gulak out of 10. Killer Shock, shout out to you. Justin said, women beating up men. WWE is back, baby. Drew's pen is mightier than Drew's sword, says Eric. Can I hire you if that's singing, says Mason. Millions people have requested, but unfortunately, I am very focused on this this channel, so. But I will do the occasional wedding as well. 5.15, Forgotten Drews out of 10. 9.87 says Brandon. 6.5 says Dylan. Rev Gaming with a 5. Man United Hodge with a 6.5. Lol My Name said Raw has been so much better than SmackDown for a while now. How did they let him through Gorilla with that damn sword? He destroyed the ropes at a stupendous show. That is true, actually. Considering what he did, like, he sabotaged WrestleMania. And they still let him walk around with the sword. If we don't get Charlotte versus Gulak, then we riot, says Harley. I've seen a total of 15 minutes so far, says Larry. Vibin says 4 out of 10. Hayden with a 7. Grant with a 5. Legend Killer with a 6. Eric said, please sing again so I can record it. You can always go back, dude. That's the great thing with these streams. You can rewind them. You can rewind them just like old school videotapes. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Legend Killer says 6. Strutting Steve says 6.77. Days has got the singing voice of a beanie wearing Adele. Yes. Adam said Barcelona lost to Frankfurt. The Europa League final is... Europa League is Frankfurt versus West Ham. Yes. Right, WrestleMania 38 shatters social media. They were banging on about this on Monday. Dallas Morning News. WrestleMania 38 at AT&T breaks records. 2.2 billion social media impressions. 1.1 billion video views. 87 million engagement. 13.1 million video watch time minutes. Here's Gunther! Gunther! With Ludwig Kaiser. The mat is sacred. I'm so glad they're still saying that. He is the epitome of elegant destruction. Oh, I want a match. I don't want just talky. You will obey to the ring general. Yes, you will. You will. Don't you think you won't? Everyone will obey to the ring general. Oh my God. Do we get new merch? I'm a Gunther stan. That's it. I'm a Gunther simp, guys. It's over. It's over. It's done. It's a done deal. Forget about it. I want the figures. I want the jacket. I want someone walking around with me that's called Ludwig. Ring General. Look at all this stupid Brock Lesnar merch. No one cares. Roman Reigns, bothered. I want some Ring General. Sammy making his way down. You can get a WrestleMania 38 event chair, you know. Gable Steveson shirt as well. Gable means gold. Gable Steveson shirt. Sammy. There is the first Gable Steveson. That's quite nice, actually. A little bit faded. Kind of, you could wear that with jeans and look pretty cool. I like that. I like that. Don't mind that. Brock Lesnar. That dusty shirt's great. Couple of great dusty shirts. Still nothing for Gunther. I think I've still got a great Volta shirt. But I don't think there's anything for Gunther yet. No, sorry, nothing can be found for Gunther. What? Right, we are underway with Drew against Sammy. I'm on the Gunther bandwagon. I will be your Ludwig, says William. Adam, yes, I read it. Do you know that Cody Rhodes' shirt is the most sold product on WWE Shop? Fair play. Fair play. Any Cody stuff? Yeah, there is a couple of Cody shirts. Straight to Sammy. I think the best storyline's going to be Gunther versus Drew. That will be something to remember. Is Johnny Knoxville done with WWE? I believe he is, yes. What happened to Volta? He's become Gunther. Do you think Jinder can beat Ricochet for the title? I think he can. I don't think he will, but I think he can. Strikes come in by Sammy. How long? So we got about 47 minutes to go. I would like one of those jackets that Gunther wears. Here we go. Driven back into the corner goes Sammy, and belly to belly. What happened to Mace? Apparently he was on Summer earlier, and now he's being managed by LA Knight. Days, write an angry letter telling them you're going to stop watching until there's some Gunther merch. Well, I'm hoping they're just working on it, mate. I should imagine the demand is so high that they're just going through designs as we speak. Here's Drew looking for the Claymore. Sammy rolls out the ring. Sammy rolls out the ring. Drew going out after him. Chucks Sammy into the ring. Against the ropes goes Sammy, and Claymore just misses. Sammy jumps into the crowd again, and he runs away. So Sami Zayn is once again in the crowd, stumbling his way up the steps. There we go, bell has sounded. Drew getting over the barricade, and Sammy runs all the way up the steps. Drew's going after him. Looks like a decent crowd, in all fairness. You can see even the hard cam side's got some people in it. So, Drew up in with the fans. So, Sammy has been able to run away from Drew. Okay. Kayla said it looks like Sami Zayn is still on the run. Here's Ricochet. Maybe Drew interviews Drew and asks why he drew his swords and then drew a picture of both Drews drinking Drew's brew. Okay, so Ricochet Jinder, I think, is it next? Fastest 10 count out in history. We should be getting the Roman Drew feud soon. I know they are wrestling each other at house shows. This beautiful title. It's not going anywhere. It is crazy to think that Ricochet is the Intercontinental Champion. Right, here we go. Ricochet and Ricochet versus Jinder. Is Elias Ezekiel? No, apparently it's his brother. When I've been to SmackDown and Raw, most of the time the hard cam side is pretty full. That's kind of a misconception about WWE, sometimes, that the arenas aren't ever full. He should call them Interdrews, says James Kenny. Ricochet is crazy good. Love seeing him live. Okay, commercial break. So we do have about 40-odd minutes left to go in the night. 40-odd minutes, and Intercontinental Championship match coming up next. Ricochet is the second-ranked babyface on SmackDown after Drew. It's crazy, isn't it? Sort of come out of nowhere to win the Intercontinental title. I hope they just give him a good run with that belt. Definitely feels like they're trying to use everyone on the roster now. It definitely feels like the days of just having people sat in catering. Yeah, I'd imagine Nick Khan probably, when he first arrived, walked into catering, he was like, what the hell is happening here? Because the amount of people that were probably sat there that didn't have any creative for, I should imagine it would be one of the first things he said to Vince, like, how much money are we paying for just having them people sat in catering, which is, you know, maybe why we had so many releases last year. Because, I mean, you look at it now, like, it's hard to name superstars that aren't getting on TV. I mean, one of the names I would have said would have been Drew Gulak, and, well, here he is. Drew Gulak, we, you know, starting to see him getting used. Apparently, they've now got plans for Mace. Maybe T-Bar. Maybe that's someone we need to try and find something for. But they're doing a much, much better job of that. Much better. Arn said, Jinder had a good run as champ in 2017. By the way, old IC title design back. Adil said, Ezekiel's voice is the same as Elias. I'm still confused that they're two different people. It's very confusing. It's very confusing. But just got to believe what he says. What else can we do? I found out that Kayla Braxton is 4'11". She's like a little chipmunk. Apparently she lives in a tree. WWE said Usos versus RK Bro is in 2 weeks on SmackDown, on the taped SmackDown after next week's SmackDown. They've announced it for WrestleMania Backlash. William, hello. Shout out to you. Shotzi and Xia Li don't get any time. That's true. That's true. Those two are definitely two that have fallen through the cracks. I thought that maybe it was because they didn't have anything for them for WrestleMania, but we haven't seen them in a couple of shows since either, have we? So, yeah, good point. You can fit her in your pocket. She's a real-life Polly Pocket. Do you think Nash Carter should have been released? I think that it was a difficult situation for WWE. I think that the picture is what's done it, and, you know, you can't deny what that picture is. I mean, that kind of stuff, you know, you just can't do. You just can't do that stuff. I mean, I'm presuming that it was a joke. I'm presuming that he shaved and he had a little bit of a, you know, hair, and it looked a bit like Hitler, and so he did the Hitler pose and, you know, the Nazi salute, and it was not intended as anything that was meant to be offensive or anything along those lines. Why he would take a picture of that, I've got no idea. Why it would then get released, I mean, I think it got released because his wife was upset with him. And, you know, I don't think it was obviously meant to see the light of day, of course. But why you would even take a picture of it anyway, I've got no idea. Why you would do it in the first place, full stop. I mean, again, I can only imagine he was shaving and he was like, oh, do you know what this looks like? I don't think he's a Nazi. I don't think he is. I don't think he attends, like, you know, KKK meetups and all this kind of stuff. But the optics are not good at all, are they? So, yeah, I mean, look, WWE just doesn't need that kind of bad PR. It's good enough at creating its own bad PR, so it doesn't need wrestlers creating their own. So, I think it was a difficult situation. You could have argued they could have suspended him and seen if it would have, you know, they could have done an investigation. What would you have found out, though? I have no idea. Of course, he's going to say he isn't a Nazi or anything like this. Would you ever be able to get to the truth on that? It's definitely going to sour people on him, so it's a difficult situation. It's a really difficult situation. I think they had to do something. So the question is, should you have suspended him for X amount of time or release him? And they've just decided to release him. I can't really criticise them for that. Here's Jinder. He was probably mucking about, said Jaden. You gotta be so careful with that stuff, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reason why he might have done that is because you're not meant to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not meant to do that. And, like, there's something, like, maybe edgy about doing it. You know, doing something you're not meant to do. Like, I think it was probably that. As you said, like, maybe mucking about with friends or something. But It's a stupid thing to do. And certainly if you've got dreams of being in the public eye and being a wrestler and everything, I mean, it just shows, doesn't it? I mean, what I do like about it is that if there are any young wrestlers that are coming through, you know, it's a very clear message to them. Don't be an idiot. Don't do stuff like this that can come back and bite you later on in life. I understand the argument that people will say, like, yeah, but you make mistakes when you're young and everything. But, I mean, look, there's some things that you do that you can't escape from. And WWE as a business has to protect itself, doesn't it? And that picture does not look good. Like, it just doesn't look good. I don't believe that he is into that stuff, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, what about someone that doesn't know about them or doesn't know what they're like as... I mean, I don't know what he's like as a person anyway. But I don't think he is that way inclined. Either way, I didn't cry over it. Let's put it that way. Doesn't bother me that they released him. Charles, shout out to you, dude. Charles Sando Menico. Shout out to you, buds. Killshock said, I agree. I just don't think they should have released him. CM316 said, do you remember when Jinder was WWE champion? I do. We are underway with this match. Ricochet against Jinder. We got about 35 minutes to go. Glides into the midsection. Standing moonsault lands by Ricochet. Are the mid-level titles just for people that should be world champion but they don't know what to do with? Mid-level titles are used in various different ways. They can be used for people that won't ever get to that world title but they want to feature them. You know, you might be a good worker. Someone like, say, Cesaro, who they always struggled to get him to the top of the card. But, you know, they were always willing to put, say, the tag titles in particular on him. Well, the mid-card belts are, you know, same sort of thing. You know, someone that's, maybe they've got to learn, like, some promo skills. They've got to learn something, then give them a run with a mid-card belt. So it can be people that, you know, maybe they don't see at the top of the card because there's a few shortcomings. And then, you know, this is a way of keeping them on TV and hopefully fixing those shortcomings. But equally, if you're someone that's been at the top of the card and you're not needed up there, then you can always drop down to the mid-card title picture. We've seen Roman as Intercontinental Champion. Ricochet connects. 2, 3. Ricochet wins. When do you think we'll see Alexa or Asuka back? Maybe there'll be a draft soon. I don't think it'll be long for either. I mean, I feel like Alexa's only away because of her wedding. And Asuka's, I saw a little thing saying it's been over 200 days that she's been missing. I mean, we're getting close to 12 months. 200 and some days. So, you know, I kind of think that, I don't know what flipping injury she's had, but around SummerSlam time, I can see them all being back, and that's like July, I think. And maybe even before that, maybe even Money in the Bank, but I don't know that I can see them this side of WrestleMania Backlash. But summer. But I think Alexa sooner. But Bayley, Asuka, I'd imagine they'll be both back by SummerSlam. Right, Ricochet victorious. The Alexa thing needs to be explained. Well, she got married, didn't she? Here is Butch and Ridge and Sheamus. Butch lost, didn't he? That sucked. Butch losing his in-ring debut to Xavier Woods. Don't tell me they got rid of the 630 for a shooting star. LSW said, hopefully Asuka comes back soon. She could really elevate the women's division on Raw. Are you shit serious? That's a civilized discussion where we come from. We've all agreed. Butch needs to harness his aggression. The enemy is who? New Day! New Day! Is that how Butch is going to talk now? We haven't lost Butch, he just walked off. What do you mean you've lost Butch? He was there and he just walked off. You haven't lost him. What? What does he mean we've lost Butch? Butch was there and then we all just saw Butch walk away and then seconds later he goes, we've lost Butch. What do you mean? He's just like if you walk around the corner, you'll see him go down the corridor. What do you mean you've lost Butch? Sheamus is like, what do you mean we've lost Butch? He's not a set of car keys. I think some of the Butch stuff is just pretty wild. It's pretty wild. This is comedy gold. Poor Pete Dunne, said James. I hate what we're doing with Butch. Butch is the new golden egg. They watched him walk away. Isn't Peaky Blinders over? Apparently not. One of the worst matches today, Ricochet versus Jinder, said Rajesh. Butch is gone. Butch is on the loose. 2021 totals were WWE 18, Universal 13, IC 12, US 15, Raw Tag 13, SmackDown Tag 12, only 24/7. What are these ones? What are these? That changed hands. I don't know what that means. Are those the ones where the titles changed hands? Butch is never going to get over like this. Butch was like, F yeah, I'm an Audi. Butch has gone back to NXT. Butch the Pitbull has gone missing. They've butchered Butch. Butch ran away. We've lost Butch. No, you haven't lost Butch. You haven't lost Butch. You would have lost Butch if you were looking for him. You couldn't find him. But when you're stood next to someone, they walk off and then seconds later you say... I mean, you could say Butch has gone. Like, that's fine. Butch has gone. But you haven't lost Butch. He's literally just round the corner. You haven't even looked for Butch. How can you lose something you haven't even looked for? I don't... Well, it's wild. It's wild. SmackDown is wild. Where's Butch? Guys, we need a big search. I should imagine that people are calling the police right as we speak. I'd imagine the police are absolutely inundated with missing person reports right now. If any possible CM Punk best in the world return to WWE? No. Where's Butch is the new Where's Wally? God, imagine that. Is that the police? Yeah. I need to report a missing person. Okay. How long they've been missing? 5 minutes. Needs to be about 24 hours. What's his name? Butch. Are you winding me up? No, I'm not. He's missing. But it's only been 5 minutes. I know. And actually, it wasn't even that long, if I'm being honest. And I haven't even started looking for him yet. And his name's Butch. Don't ask. Don't ask. Pizza Hut moment. Ruthless aggression. June 27th, 2002. Pretty wild, isn't it? Nice job. Nice job, kid. Nice job. Pizza Hut. Oh, hello. We got New Day signing some things. Is Xavier got a Drew Gulak t-shirt on? I think Xavier's wearing a Drew Gulak shirt. Butch launching himself at New Day. See, they haven't lost him. There we go. Found him. Hello, is that the police? Yeah, cancel what I said. Turns out found him. Thanks. Not the autograph table. When I was a kid, my mom lost me in the mall. She looked away for 5 seconds and I was gone. The security found me, so Butch could have pulled a me. Yeah, but I think your mom probably did look for you before, like, panicking. And also, you are a child. I mean, Butch isn't a child. And also, he clearly just walked off. These are weird, aren't they? It's like, let's check in with Lacey Evans now, where Lacey Evans tells us about her horrific upbringing out of nowhere. Yeah, these are weird, man. These are weird. It's like Lacey Evans is like having a therapy session, like out of nowhere. We just had Butch launch himself at the New Day. Let's check in with Lacey Evans, who's revealing some horrific truths from her youth. This could be presented so much better. I feel like this is all... Feels like it's genuine. It feels like this is stuff she went through when she was young, but why is this not a sit-down with, like, Michael Cole? Instead, we've just shoved her in a room on her own, just chatting away at a camera. I don't mind Lacey having mentioned her influence as being her past, but they need to not labour the point. This is a bit depressing. These make me feel bad. I mean, is it getting her over as a face? Sure. But I don't want to see any more of these segments. Maybe we won't have to. Maybe this is the last one. That doesn't make me better than any of these. Natalia says, cry me a river, Lacey. We've all had tough lives. Natalia talking There's, is that... I don't know, I can't remember her name. Is it Rachel? Hi. Raquel Rodriguez. Welcome to Smackdown. Okay. Okay. But I don't understand. So Natalia was talking about how like all these new women are coming in, invading, and like Raquel was like always just like there. Just always there. How did she not know she was there? Don't know. Don't know. Right. We have got Riddle versus... Is it Jimmy? Jimmy Uso. Awkward. Right, here we go. Is this the main event, is it? Weird. Bit weird, isn't it? Oh, the grasshoppers are back. SmackDown's getting worse every week. Do you agree? I wouldn't say it's getting worse every week. I would say that it struggles when Roman's not on the show. But actually, like, I felt like the first 35 minutes or so is pretty good. And then I think there was a bit of a step down. And now here we are with, what, 19 minutes to go? We've got Randy and Riddle. There's some weird stuff in there. There's some stuff you look at and you're like, it's just a bit strange. Like that with Natalia. Like the Lacey Evans thing, I just think is weird. Like out of nowhere, she just pours her heart out and it's just like, you know, sad music in the background. It's just weird. The presentation is so weird. Like, why doesn't, like, Michael Cole sit down and say, welcome back? You know, and Lacey's like, thank you, Michael. I really wanted to have this chat because there's things I really want to say. And, like, just, I don't know, frame it a bit better. So that's weird. And then we go to Natalia talking trash, which is fine. But then, like, Raquel's right there talking trash about new people coming into the locker room. And she's, like, she's right there. So that was weird. I just find, like, some of the stuff's just weird. Like, I don't know. Detail schmetails. She's got an advert for Fury against Dillian White. We'll be watching that next Saturday. Excited for it. Do you think they should put the belt on Cody in the future? Yes. Yes. Looking forward to that, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing that story. I actually sat down last night and watched Dusty Rhodes versus Superstar Billy Graham, which is the match that Cody referenced. And I watched it, and it was all right. I didn't really like the ending. And then I realised that it wasn't the match that, once I got to the end, I realised it wasn't the match that Cody had referenced. It was actually, I think, the rematch of the match that Cody had referenced. So I need to go back and find the match that Cody talks about. I saw the rematch. And apparently there's a third match. There's another match they have, which is a bull rope match. So I might end up watching that as well. The second match I watched it was all right. Still at Madison Square Garden. Still 1977. I think it was just a few weeks after the one that Cody was talking about. And they have another match. Superstar gets the win. And then they have a bull rope, apparently. And what I ended up doing then was, because I'd watched this match, it recommended the Superstar Billy Graham documentary, which I have. I always look for it. Because I know that it's around here somewhere, the Superstar Billy Graham documentary. I've got it on DVD. And it was really good, because when that DVD came out, I'd heard of his name, but I didn't know anything about him. And I remember watching it and learning so much, and a lot of it I'd forgotten. And so I ended up rewatching that last night. And God, it's so good. It was so interesting. It's quite old now, but obviously all the information's still accurate. So yeah, I ended up watching a documentary on superstar Billy Graham. You can do that on the network though, can't you? You know, you go in, you watch something, and then it'll lead to something else, and it's good. It's good. Networks underappreciated, man. It really is underappreciated. Certainly for people like us that grew up without it. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people that, you know, if you've been watching wrestling for the past 5-6 years, that's a long time. But all that time you've had the network. Think about that. A lot of kids that have got into it now just don't know. They just don't know what life was like before the WWE network. They don't know that you had to have all of the shows on VHS or DVD if you wanted to watch them at any time. It's a different world. It's a different world. Lumberjack match next week. Drew versus Sammy. Lumberjack match. Killer Shock said, I can't stop watching Cody's return. If Ezekiel is Elias's younger brother, is Robert Roode Bobby Roode's older brother? I don't think so. I think they're the same person. Come on. You can always tell when someone's the same person. I think that Bobby Roode and Robert Roode are the same person, so... Malik said, on Ronda versus Charlotte match, don't you think it should have been a submission match instead of an I Quit match? It could have been a submission. Yeah, I don't mind that. But I suppose there's a... With this, like, to say the words, I quit, and that's how you win. There's something quite humbling about that. So, I don't mind it. Elias and his brother should win the tag belts. Yes. I've only been watching WWE for 4 years. You just don't know. You just don't know. You just will never know how hard life was. Have you watched Volta versus Cara Noir yet? No. No, that's something else I need to do. Jeez. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to watch the match that I intended to watch the other day, as I said. I wanted to watch Dusty and Superstar, and I ended up watching the rematch. I've been watching wrestling for 43 years. Okay, you probably know then, Larry. You probably know. You know the hardship. In the ring is big clothesline. Down goes Riddle. Bobby Roode is Rick's clone gone wrong. Why do you like Roman, said Jaden. Why do I like Roman? I think Roman's excellent wrestler. I think he tends to put on some really great matches. Although I would say his feud with Brock was maybe a bit underwhelming from that point of view. But, you know, we've seen some really good matches from Roman since he's been champion. Him against Cena was really good at SummerSlam, and him against Kevin Owens last year was really good. Stuff he was doing with Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, I mean, we had, like, there's been some really good matches. Promo-wise, I think he's excellent. Look is 10 out of 10. I mean, he looks like a world wrestling champion. I mean, he's just got such an incredible physique and size. I mean, when it comes to, like, great wrestlers, you always mark them on those 3 areas. The look, the wrestling ability, the promo. I really feel like Roman is pushing close to 10 in all of those areas. The only thing was that he was a bit dull when he was a face. And he was shoved down our throats and people didn't like it. Now he's shoved down our throats and people don't like it. But that's great and fine because he's a heel and he doesn't care. Trying to do it as a face is a problem, but with him being a heel, it works so much better. So much better. And like now, people are getting bored of him and they're booing, but you're meant to boo Roman. So the more that you hate it, the more that WWE are going to love it. Because you're going to start rooting for the faces to beat him because you're bored of his title run. The problem will be if you stop watching. But it ain't going to happen, is it? WWE already know people ain't going to turn off and not tune in. If you're a WWE fan, WWE know that they've got you. And you're not going to stop watching. So, they're winning. I saw a report that apparently there's no plans to take the title off him anytime soon. What that means, I don't know. Like, soon as in, like, I can see him getting past WrestleMania Backlash, but what about Money in the Bank? What about SummerSlam? Don't know. Brock and Roman got hurt in that match. Brock messed his stomach up, so I don't mind the match ending, said Master Chief. Have you played 2K22 yet? No. No. The Islanders days. What are you trying to hide? What do you mean? Spammers have been eaten. Randy, with the titles just laying on the floor. We are at commercial break, by the way. Are you streaming Battle of the Belts tomorrow? No. On at the same time as UFC. I didn't know UFC was on this week. Who are the big fights? Some interesting fights, actually, but the big one, the main event, is Luque versus Bilal Muhammad. Luque is on like a 4-fight win streak. He's only actually lost a couple of times in UFC. He's a highly ranked fighter, taking on Bilal Muhammad, who is also right up there. Both, I think it's welterweight division, and Bilal is someone that is also doing really well at the moment. This is, I don't know where they are in their rankings, but it's like number 5 against number 6, or number 3 against number 5. It's really quite high, and whoever wins that is really putting themselves in line for a title shot in the future. So someone will take a big step forwards, someone will take a big step backwards. So I really like the main event. Main event's good. Co-main event, I think, is a couple of UFC debuts that are both really good prospects. So UFC, rather than like just feeding them a couple of easy fights, they've actually, I don't know why they've done it, but they're putting them up against each other. These two good prospects, they're smashing them up against each other, which I think is really weird booking. But I mean, whoever wins it again is gonna really establish themselves. Both making their UFC debuts, so I think that's kind of interesting. The card itself looks all right. It's a fight night. It's 14 fights to get through. But, yeah, top end of the card looks pretty fun. So that's tomorrow. Luque is going to smash Bilal, just like last time they fought, says Holloway fan. I need to start watching NXT Level Up. I'm missing all new stars, says Malik. Right. We are back with 8 minutes to go. Kip up by Riddle. Jimmy stumbling back to the corner. Riddle charging over and a forearm strike. Gets the ropes with another big forearm strike. Exploder. Goes for a kick. Lands on his feet. Senton. Against the ropes. He's got him up on his shoulders. It's like GTS. Shoulder up. I've got the monkeys for this main event. Hello from San Antonio. I've been a fan for wrestling for 20 odd years, says Havoc. Havoc, shout out to you. Ronnie said, I dropped the women's title on WCW, not Alundra Blaze. It was Ronnie and the Bin. It's my favourite new band. Knees up by Jimmy Uso. Riddle up in the air. Oh, God, that Samoan drop was It was weird, man. So he, like, hurls him up in the air, and as he's falling down, catches him and goes into a Samoan drop, but... Whew. Don't know, it was a bit sloppy, to be honest. It didn't feel like it was a very controlled Samoan drop at all. At all. What's the pay-per-view in Cardiff? They haven't named it. So we don't know. Roman told the Usos to get the titles. They said hell yeah. So is Roman going to be angry that this isn't a titles match and it's a singles match? No, because they've got the title match at WrestleMania Backlash. Sonny said, are you near Exeter? There's apparently going to be a Tim Hortons location arriving. No. And actually, if I was near Exeter, that news would make me move. I would refuse to be anywhere where there's a Tim Hortons. Because I can only imagine that that would attract people like you. And that will just bring down the area. So I would move, to be honest. So thank you for that warning, because now I will make sure that I am nowhere near Exeter. Randy Orton planting one of the Usos onto the announce table. Alex said, if the pay-per-view doesn't have a dragon in it, I'll be shocked. Yeah, good shout, actually. That is... Why? Randy Orton just gets into the ring, and why did the referee not tell Randy Orton to get out? Why did the ref not tell Randy to get out the ring? Randy jumps into the ring. Are we allowed to do that now, aren't we? We're allowed to do that. So when the match is on, you can jump in the ring. But as long as you promise not to interfere. That was weird, wasn't it? That was weird. It's been weird tonight, isn't it? It's been weird. Emotional damage plus 100. Oh. I don't want to wait. Randy must be proud. It is a win for Riddle. Hits RKO out of nowhere. Randy loved it so much he popped into the ring as the referee was counting. Strange vibe to the show. Strange vibe. Orton's okay. VAR has allowed it. We are just checking VAR, and it's good. That was not an RKO. It was a stunner. That's an AEW rule. Do what you want and no DQ. Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. He's in the ring. Can't be in the ring. Oh, Gunther. We need you. The mat is sacred, Gunther. Look at these clowns just jumping in whilst matches are going on and referees not doing anything about it. Good night, everybody. There's still 3 minutes. Wow, dry your eyes. That's what I'm going to say. Dry your eyes, mate. Dry your eyes. Stop your tears. Because the show's over. What do you score WWE Smackdown? What do you score WWE? 7-2-7-5 6-2-6-7-5. So Roman wasn't there, was he? If he was there, we would have seen him. Can't imagine he was hanging around in catering. They didn't use him. Week off for Roman Reigns. Solid 8, said Tone Lock. They showed Roman's locker room and the Usos talking to him. Why didn't they come out? It's because he wasn't there and they weren't really talking to him. They just don't want you to know they were there on their own. They ended early for once, and it wasn't a rush for time. Dry your eyes, mate. Ian said, I'll be nice and give it a 6. Arn says 2. Drift says 7. Lee said 6-2-5. I bet Gunther's in a dart match and we can't watch it. Ah! God damn it. I bet it's like Gunther versus John Cena in a dart match. Call in the Cardiff show. Should have a dragon and fire comes out. Mr. McMahon shows up in a dragon costume. Amazing. This show sucks because Roman was not there. 6.1, 575. I rate it an 8. Rashawn says 625. Dave said 675 and fell asleep. John said 4.15. Weird, but not goods. I think it's great that we don't see Roman every week. I'm going to agree. It's like 6-ish. I mean, it was all right. It was all right. Like, 6. Best show ever, 4. I like the start. And I thought the Rhea-Naomi match was pretty good. There was nothing that was really, like, offensive. It's just a load of weird stuff, to be honest. Could do better. I would say 6 out of 10. Can do better. Must do better. Serious question. Wasn't her name Raquel Gonzalez? It was. I still think it's injured on the download. WWE doesn't want to fess up about it, says Heather. I think you're right. Heather's called it. X-Drive says 6.8. Mason Tube says 6. Hayden said, I gave the same score of a 6. Hasib said, who you rooting for, City or Liverpool? Then, if you say City or Liverpool, then you're not 100% a United fan. So, if I say City or Liverpool, then that means I can't support Manchester United. It's a wild way to look at the world. Who am I rooting for? The answer is not rooting for anyone because I support Man United. So I'm not rooting for anyone. Jim said, my score would have been a 9, but sadly, 789. Austin said, NXT Level Up starts now. Well, watch it then. Watch it. No one's going to stop you. Hope you're well. Top Tier said, this is her younger sister. It's Raquel Rodriguez. Anthony said, can I get a shout out? And thanks for the stream. Anthony, shout out to you. Alex said, seems days like it started well and finished on a bit of a low. A little fiddly in the middle, always. A little fiddly in the middle always helps. Days, did you see Deep Heat UK wrestling comedy on ITV2? I did not. But I hope you enjoyed it. Heather said, I'm going to watch some Ultraman on Netflix. Oh, I didn't know Dave in real life has got his own show. Dave in real life, a.k.a. Ultraman. He's like a man, but just taken to the ultra. Enjoy it. Have fun. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a good weekend. Lone Star Friend, shout out to you. Killer Shock says, I don't follow football. Alex says, whoa, that was a tad violent. Oh, it wasn't intended as violent. It was intended as advice. I preferred Rampage tonight, said Mason. Heather said, if Roman is legit injured and they keep him off TV, SmackDown's ratings will go down. Down the toilet. Did Riddle win? Yes. Aaron said, good night, Days. Good night, Aaron. Austin says, Roxanne starts the show. You don't have to put on the red lights. Roxanne, put on a red light. Roxanne, put on a red light. What's your opinion on microtransactions in video games? I think they suck. If you buy a game, you shouldn't then have to fanny around with microtransactions. Maybe if the game's free and it's like in-app purchase kind of stuff, I can understand that, but that still sucks as well. I'd much rather just buy a game for like £5 rather than have to worry about downloading it for free and then I end up going to have to spend like £100 on it or something. Sucks. Stop it. Stop it, game publishers. No. There you go. I'm watching Level Up later. I'm excited for Roxy's debut. Would you like to see Roman get new coloured pants like white or red to match the Usos? Not bothered. Roman does what he wants to do, yeah. If the Usos are going to... Maybe the Usos should change their attire so they match Roman. How about that? Roman don't need to change. It's the tribal chief. It's the head of the table. You put some respect on his name. Fannying around. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Fannying around. It looks good. What was your rating for Rampage? We don't rate Rampage. We never rate Rampage. Or at least I say never. We might have once in the past. James said, near 7, SmackDown starting to find themselves. SMYD is an indie promotion. They promote the S-ing of a D. I don't even know what that means, but it feels dirty. Feels dirty. But then everything William says feels dirty. So, thank you. I'm sure that the game publishers are on it. Yeah, that will reverberate around the gaming world. What's happened here on this stream. So, new thing to write down. Fannying around. Fanny upside down. Only in the UK would you hear the word fanny. Fannying around? I don't understand. Stop fannying around. That is a thing that is said. Like, I have not invented that. I will gladly take praise for inventing it, but I didn't. You know, Batista fall after his I Quit match against Cena, so the same thing will happen to Charlotte, ? Charlotte's going to be fine. Vince loves Charlotte. She's a massive star, so she'll probably lose. I can see her losing, but she'll bounce back. She's got good bounce in her, that girl. End of days, good night. Right, I think we're done anyway. We're done. Let's end the poll and see what people are saying, shall we? Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look, shall we, darling? Let's have a little look. Here we go. 6 to 675 actually won. Wow. Jesus. It's normally 8 to 10 regardless, isn't it? But 6 to 675, 7 to 75, 8 to 10, 575 or below. But yeah, 34% said 6 to 675. Right, we're done. Awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed the show. I think without Roman, it does struggle. I think we knew that, you know, you take Roman out of SmackDown and it's left wanting a little bit, and I'd say that's what this week's show was. It was left wanting a little bit. But there was still some decent stuff on there, and a lot of weird stuff as well. But hey-ho, we'll see what Monday brings. And, of course, we are back tomorrow. Man City against Liverpool on football days, and UFC tomorrow night. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Toodly bye.